The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
And we welcome you to Playoff Sunday here on ABC Sports coverage of the World League. We're at home field in Sacramento, California, on the campus of California State University at Sacramento, where today the North American West Division champion, Sacramento Surge, play host to the European Division champion, Barcelona Dragons. Last night, in the other World League playoff game, Orlando jumped out to a 23-0 first quarter lead against Birmingham at home. They cruised to the 45-7 victory, and they moved to next week's championship game in Montreal against the winner of this game today. And hi, everybody. Along with Dick Vermeil, Jim Valvano, and Julie Moran, I'm Roger Twibel, and we welcome you here on a hot, sunny day in Sacramento, California, where the temperature right now is 85, but it's supposed to get up later this afternoon into the mid-90s. Just a slight breeze. The forecast, scorching is a good way to describe it, and the natural grass surface here at Hornet Field. Right now, let's go down to Julie Moran. Julie?
Well, mammoth road trips are simply a part of playing in the World League. Just ask the Barcelona Dragons. They've been on the road, and they haven't won a single game since April 26th. They've been back and forth between Europe and the United States 3 times in 4 weeks. They have changed time zones 9 times, and they have lost 4 straight football games for a grand total of 18,378 miles. And Jimmy V, my partner on the other sideline, this is not the condition or the state of mind you'd like to be in coming into your biggest game of the year.
Julie, you're right, but let me tell you something. All coaches are multiple personalities. And Kay Stevenson's just like that, too, because he's in the locker room, and that's where you're an optimistic coach. You tell your team, hey, let's go get them. The Newt Rockney talk, we're going to win the World League. Then as soon as the team goes out, the pessimistic side comes, and you turn to your assistants, you say, hey, I don't want to play anybody who's on a losing streak. I'd hate to play Sacramento High School, Kay Stevenson said, on a losing streak, right? But then there's a realistic coach should take over, and that says, hey, look, our squad's playing well. We've been in playoff-type atmosphere, and we've won. Barcelona's depleted on defense. They've lost 4 in a row. Their offense is ineffective. I look for Barcelona, maybe their defense, to keep them in the game for a while, but in the long haul, Sacramento's going to come away a winner.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim. We've got 2 teams, Dick Vermeil, that have moved in different directions. Sacramento's won 5 in a row. Barcelona has lost 4 in a row. Last year, Barcelona made it to the World Bowl. They returned 26 of the same players. Sacramento 3-7. They made a complete overhaul. Only have 11 players back. What in this playoff game will it mean to have 26 guys who were with you in the playoffs last year?
Well, I think it helps them, but they have to be all healthy. Some of those guys are not healthy, especially in the secondary. Barcelona, for them to be in this football game, they have to play great defense. Now, they're capable of playing very good defense. My question is, can they play great defense with 3 of their 4 starters out of the secondary?
Stephon Adams, 85, and Eddie Brown, 88. The return man, and kicking off is Teddy Garcia for the Barcelona Dragons. Garcia, who last week had a chance to tie up the game against Orlando late in the contest, but missed a field goal. They lost 13-10 last week. One previous meeting between these 2 teams here in Sacramento last year, the Dragons beat the Surge 29-20 as Demetrius Davis had a big day for him with 9 receptions, 116 yards, and he will be a key, the tight end for Barcelona. As 85, Stephon Adams will down it in the end zone, and the Sacramento Surge will start at 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line, led by the most valuable offensive player in the World League, David Archer. 23 touchdown passes, just 7 interceptions, 61%, the best completion ratio in the World League. Eddie Brown, Mike Pringle, Tony Burrs, Paul Green, Carl Parker, the backs and receivers, and up front, Richard Stevens, the leading sack man, John Buddenberg, all World League, Brian Forsythe, Tom Rader, and Ernie Rogers, the offensive line, as Sacramento takes it 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Mike Pringle, and he gets across the 20 to about the 22. Pringle's been banged up a lot late in the year, as we'll check out Barcelona for you defensively with the veteran Bruce Clark, Mike Ruth, and Steve Alford up front. The backers for Barcelona, Lindstrom, Quast, Getz, Gilbert, and Aposky, one of their best ones, out for the second year in a row from the playoffs with injuries. And then the banged-up secondary, 3 of the 4 starters out. Adrian Jones, the only remaining starter, the most valuable defensive player, Fryer, Woods, and Hardy. 2nd and 8. That's Pringle, the man in motion. A lot of pressure on Archer. He fumbles it. Looked like Archer got it back. There's a penalty marker down on the field. Good pressure right there by 61, Steve Alford, the 3rd-year pro from Washington. A loss of 11, a penalty marker on the play.
They were going to run an option screen, meaning they were going to check or throw the ball downfield if they could. If not, they were going to screen pass to the left. Many times offensive linemen do not set properly within that situation, and therefore Alford beats him to the inside and creates almost the turnover.
Dick, that was an inadvertent flag, so no penalty. It brings up a 3rd down and 18. The Surge, they've been terrific in 3rd down situations. They've completed 46%, but this is going to be a tough one. Out of the shotgun, David Archer. Plenty of time to throw it, and he finally just throws it away. So a good defensive series, a lot of pressure. Mike Ruth applying to David Archer that time, but he had some time, nothing showed up, and consequently Sacramento's going to have to punt as they send John Nees in to do the punting. Nees, 39.3 average, 4th in the World League. He's had 10 down inside the 20. That's 85. Thomas Woods, who's 4th in the World League in punt returns with 7.7 a game. Woods is standing at his own 45-yard line, so it should be good field position for Barcelona. But a fine punt by Nees drives Woods back to the 35. But he is immediately stopped at the 41-yard line. Return of 6 right there, as the man on the coverage was 85, Stephon Adams. As you take a look at Scott Ernie, the much injured, much sacked quarterback, who last week, though, completed 35 passes against Orlando. That's a World League record. 6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions on the year. He's out of Rutgers University. Lionel Manuel, the veteran, Tony Moss, Paul Palmer, Demetrius Davis, he's a key man in Woods, the receivers and backs, Ike Harris, Weesey, Sign, Glenn, and Hinkie, the offensive line, as the Dragons have it 1st and 10 from their 42-yard line. And immediately it appears as Ernie checking off at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they're in a bare defense right now, 8-man front, so they had to get out of what they had called.
Penalty markers go down as Ernie's going to go up top. He's got a man open down there, and he hits him.
Thomas Woods comes up with a big one right off the bat.
There is a flag down as we saw a lot of movement on the offensive line. Dick, as he hit Woods on that 57-yard pass I was going to mention last week against San Antonio, the Riders on 5 different occasions went up top on 1st down. It was open. They couldn't complete.
That's true. And Jack Bicknell, the head coach, of course, at Barcelona, also deeply involved in the offense, told me he felt the corners were suspect. They proved it right there.
Illegal motion, number 85 on the offense, offside, defense, penalties offset, 1st down.
You know,
so
Roger,
the man who made the catch, Thomas Woods, was the offsides victim for Barcelona.
No excuse for a wide receiver to ever be offside. He didn't have to hear the snap count. He can be out, he's lined up wide, look back into the ball. When the ball moves, you move. No excuse for that. Lack of concentration.
Offsetting penalties.
Plus what they've done now, they've alerted Robert White, number 21, they're going to go after him. So now he's a little more cautious.
We're seeing Scott Ernie now out of the shotgun. Jack Bicknell told us yesterday this would be one of the new offensive sets they put in for this game with 5 receivers. Ernie quickly near side. That's Dempsey Norman at the 48-yard line, where Robert McWright, 2nd-year pro from TCU, comes up to make the tackle against Norman, number 82 out of Little St. Francis College in Pennsylvania.
You know, I was always concerned as a coach of going to a totally new concept and throwing the football for one specific ball game, like this, the playoff game, in that Barcelona going to the shotgun. That snap, for example, that time was very high. Many times you end up making too many mistakes with something new in an offense.
They'll go right back to that same set on 2nd and 3, and now the whistle by the official. We got a timeout down on the field called by Sacramento, and we'll be back right after this.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
This year, the Lake Edna Players present the Wild West Review. Tonight, director Lauren Clark tried to motivate her cast of cowboys with new KFC Honey Barbecue Chicken. Fried chicken glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey. The chicken was unbelievable, as were a few of the performances. Try the 2-piece Honey Barbecue Roundup meal, just $2.99, or the 8-piece meal, just $9.99 for a limited time in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
To me, when a woman sweats, it just isn't sexy.
Of course a guy's gonna sweat sometimes, but when you're close, who wants a guy that smells?
Get closer with Arid Extra Extra Dry, the anti-odor antiperspirant.
I trust Arid.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint.
No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes.
The other brand's still tacky.
Whoa! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
World League Football. Brought to you by Chrysler Corporation and its divisions. Proud sponsors of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. By Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By Delta Airlines, we love to fly and it shows. And by Yokohama Tires, advanced technology on wheels.
You can see what Sacramento did their last 5 games and Barcelona their last 4, as we've got a 2nd down and 3 with Paul Palmer checking in as a lone setback. He gets the football, and he's across midfield and looks like he has got the first down, as we'll check out the defense for the Sacramento Surge for you. And up front, they'll go with 4 men. Mike Sinclair, keep an eye on him. He is a good one, property of the Seattle Seahawks. Nate Hill, Bill Goldberg, and George Bethune. Basil Proctor, Michael Jones, and Corian Freeman, maybe the quickest linebackers in the World League. And then in the secondary, Robinson, Gerhardt, Riddick, he's their leading tackler, and Robert McWright. And that is a first down. 1st and 10, 11:34 to go. As with 5 receivers and out of the shotgun, Scott Ernie leads the Dragons. They've only produced 10 points in the last 12 quarters of football, being outscored 77-10 in those 3 games. And right off the shoulder pad of his intended receiver, Demetrius Davis. On the coverage there, 55, Michael Jones, and Davis, Dick, has made a huge difference in this team this year.
He has. When he's healthy, they play. Now, here they are, 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Man-to-man coverage, see, and he's working on it back inside the right side of your screen. And Michael Jones, number 55, got a hand in there, either on the ball or in the face mask.
Davis, with him, they're 5-1. Without him, they're 0-4.
He caught 11 balls last week.
2nd down and 10. Ernie checking off. Near side, he's got his man Thomas Woods spinning. Woods down to the 35-yard line. A 5'10", 180-pounder out of Tennessee. Michael Jones once again on the tackle.
Just a short, quick 3-step drop pass. There was an 8-man front defense up there. Too many people to run against, so he audibled to this little short, quick pass. Now he uses his innate running ability to make you miss. Watch this. Another pivot move, advancing that football.
Woods now with 21 consecutive games going back to last season of catching a football for the Barcelona Dragons. He has been their most consistent receiver this year. On 1st and 10, they'll hand it to Paul Palmer. Inside the 35 to the 33-yard line, where big Nate Hill, 6'4", 310 out of Auburn, will make the tackle.
Nate Hill is only the big giant guy on the team. He's the only guy that doesn't have great speed. He has great power. But Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator for Sacramento, told me his #1 concern is if Barcelona lines up and runs at him. He says that's what we do the first. We do not stop the run real well.
Hill started every game in Surge history, 20. He's the only defensive lineman to do that.
Well, he brings the load.
2nd down and 8 out of the shotgun. One more time for Scott Ernie and the Dragons. Woods is open. He finds him inside the 30, where he is hit immediately but eludes a tackle and looks like he finds the stick for the first down. The first man to get him was Junior Robinson, but he was able to get away from his grasp, and then Mike Sinclair finally came over to knock him out.
That's when a defensive back makes a mistake of trying to kill a receiver rather than make the sure tackle. You'll see from the right-hand corner of your screen, crossing pattern, zone defense. He'll appear up on top. You'll see him coming underneath right there. He gets him the ball. There he is right there. Wham. See, you should bend your knees, keep your shoulders up, head up, and wrap those arms around Roger, just like you used to.
Hey, Dick, you know, this doesn't look like the team with the fewest first downs in the World League, the fewest points, and the fewest rushing yards. They're doing everything they want right now.
Here's what they...
3rd and 1, a mix-up, and Ernie gets nailed behind the line of scrimmage. So a big 3rd down play, and Basil Proctor, 56, first-year player out of West Virginia, came in to get him.
Well, either the quarterback went the wrong way or the running back went the wrong way, but now you go into a 4th down situation. Boy, that's a bad mental mistake by one of the two.
After a real good drive right there, and that'll bring up a field goal situation, and Teddy Garcia will come into the game, and Garcia's had his struggles this year. He's 12 of 23, and this field goal, as they set up, let's call it the 36, make it a 46-yard attempt from straight on.
2 for 7 from this distance.
And he misses it. Garcia has struggled all year, and he continues to struggle. No score, 8:14 to go, first quarter from Sacramento.
Fresh, pure, and natural. The only beer with the genuine taste of the king of beers, Budweiser.
Can a razor cut your beard off below the skin without the blades even touching your face? It can if it's a Norelco. Norelco's patented lift and cut system lifts the hair, so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. Are you getting a shave this incredibly close and exceptionally comfortable? You are when you shave with Norelco. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
Of a Rebel, change lenses. You've got the Rebel camera. Now get the EOS lenses.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and lenses from Canon, so advanced it's simple.
Preakness winner Pine Bluff goes after a $1 million bonus in the final jewel of the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. It's the Belmont Stakes, live Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Well, the last 6 games, Sacramento's really picked it up offensively, and they've done that when they made a commitment to go to the passing game.
Well, you know, they have done a better job of getting the ball downfield. Their average yards per pass attempt is superior to anybody in the league, and their average yards per completion is superior to anybody in the league.
Out of the I formation, David Archer on 1st and 10. Play action. Going downfield. Just overthrown. The intended receiver right there was number 83, the tight end Paul Green. 2nd-year pro out of Southern Cal, Jerry Woods, 35, was on the coverage.
See, David Archer likes to go deep on 1st down. He's throwing 23 touchdown passes. 12 of them were thrown on 1st down, so probably most of them off play action like that. He was looking for a double zone. 2 safeties. He didn't get that coverage. Still had a chance to get that ball in there.
Also, 23 times this year, they've gotten a 1st down by passing the football to go along with those 23 touchdown passes. Now to the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Once again, going downfield, the intended receiver there was number 88, Eddie Brown, and the man who got a hand on it was Charles Fryer, 2nd-year pro out of Nebraska.
Charles Fryer did a nice job. He's been playing left corner. Now, you watch the secondary. They're not playing man-to-man. They're playing zone, and you see Charles Fryer right in the middle of your screen, sitting in there and playing like a robber position, watching the quarterback's eyes, moving in the direction that he's looking.
3rd down and 10. 4 wide receivers. And movement up front by Barcelona. A lot of jumping around by Bruce Clark as Archer is dropped inside the 15. So the 11-year veteran, Bruce Clark.
How can a guy who's got 11, 12 years of experience jump off sides? Oh, Bruce. Here he comes to be coming from the right side of your screen. You'll see him moving, and he's going to go right up underneath Rader. Now he's going to keep on going. He said, heck, I'm this deep. I might as well keep going.
When you're the oldest guy in the world, like Dick, you're trying to get every advantage you can.
Yeah, and he wants to make sure his mom sees him on television.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Boy, he was a great one. He was a great player in his day. First to junior in college football to win the Lombardi Award as the finest lineman.
3rd down and 5 as 83 coming to the near side. Paul Green. They've got 5 wide receivers. So Green, the tight end, split widest to the near side. Archer is hit. And it's a loose ball as Archer was nailed by Ron Getz, number 56. Getz, the leading tackler, one of the leading tacklers from his linebacker spot, and with his 3rd sack of the year. So David Archer, who on this season was sacked 24 times, has been nailed a couple times already in this game, as John Nees will come in to the 20-yard line to punt it.
Of their sacks, 11 of those sacks have come from outside linebackers. They've had a hard time picking up the outside linebackers.
Nees' first punt was 53 yards, and he sends an end-over-end kick down this time to Thomas Woods. And Woods is hit at the 25-yard line. Big-time stick right there by 58 Randy Thornton, who in the offseason is a professional wrestler in Japan.
Well, he's also a hot dog. He better get out of there because he's going to get a personal foul called on him. No need in taunting. It's against the rules.
On November 11th, 1940, a legend was born in Toledo, Ohio. Jeep. Jeep earned its stripes before most of us were out of knickers. Tough, unstoppable, go anywhere, get the job done.
But all the odds, a lot of people don't know that Jeep is part of Chrysler. So now it's our job to keep the legend alive. And this is where we'll do it.
Our new billion-dollar assembly plant in Detroit, Michigan.
Before the first Jeep came down the line, our workers had the most intensive quality training in the history of Chrysler. And this is a new Jeep Grand Cherokee, a lot more room inside, and the only sport utility with 4-wheel analog brakes and a driver's airbag standard. Every inch a Jeep. To some people, Jeep is for climbing to the top of the world or just going out on the town. To us, Jeep is what all 4-wheel drives are measured against. Always will be. Hey, in this business, you lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
This is not what you want in a shave. Now you've got the edge. With 6 rich lubricants. For less irritation, you've got the edge.
Sunday, it's a real baby boom. Plus America's silliest summer sports preview on America's funniest home videos Sunday.
Let's see the Barcelona offense last week versus Orlando, 18 rushing yards and 4 fumbles, but they were able to throw the ball rather effectively for over 350-some yards total offense. As they have it 1st and 10 only twice this year as Barcelona scored 20 points. Their offense has just been not that productive. As Dick mentioned the blitz, the intended receiver was Dempsey Norman, incomplete. Michael Jones putting the pressure on. Let's go to Julie.
All right, I just listened to Dick Curl talking to his offense, and he says, we are committed to keeping the ball in the air. Just like you said, Dick, he said the corners are suspect. You can look for that Scott Ernie, Thomas Woods connections. He also said we're going to go with Demetrius Davis in the flats.
There's a look at Dick Curl, offensive coordinator, Barcelona.
He would like to be able to establish some kind of running game, and when they do that, they're going to go with 3 tight end offense, not a spread offense as you see now.
2nd down and 10. Palmer, the lone setback. 5:50 to go, first quarter. He's got his man. That's number 81, Terry O'Shea, who came into the game with just 7 receptions on the year, so that's his 8th catch as Basil Proctor brings him down very close to the first down marker. So O'Shea, 6'3", 240 out of California, Pennsylvania.
Roger Terry O'Shea has been hurt most of the year. He had a back injury. Again, that was an audible. They were in that bare 46 defense. They did not want to run. They weren't in a running formation anyway, but they audible to that pass pattern.
Well, that's what Jack Bignell told us. O'Shea, Demetrius Davis, their offense keys off their tight end. And really, for 2 or 3 games, they absolutely had no tight ends. As Palmer will hit off the left side and get maybe a couple of yards. Dick, are you surprised by what you've seen? I mean, we talked to the coaches. They told us we were going to do this, but they've had some success with it. Does that surprise you?
I'm not surprised by Barcelona's success defensively because they are a good defensive football team. If you evaluate them by the yards they give up, it's not impressive. But when you evaluate them deeply as a coaches, they're one of the better defenses. Sacramento has not been a fast-starting offensive team. The second quarter has been their big scoring quarter.
As it has been for Barcelona, as Ernie has it 2nd and 8 from the shotgun.
Blue 38!
Ernie across the 40 to the 43-yard line. 79 Vance Hammond and 55 Michael Jones come up to make the hit. Scott Ernie is a man that has to run with the football because he has been sacked an awful lot this year.
You'll see to the left side of your screen, number 75, Mike Sinclair, a premier pass rusher. Now, Brad Hinkey, 71, doing a pretty good job. Now, he might have him locked up inside on that jersey. I don't know. But doing a pretty good job of giving the quarterback time.
There's a look at Sinclair out of Eastern New Mexico University. A lot of people feel he'll start for Seattle this year.
Well, that's what we were told this week.
3rd down and 4.
48!
I think Tom Catlin at Seattle, the defensive coordinator, will have something to say about that.
Across the middle, wide open, is Demetrius Davis. Davis pounds his way down to the 41-yard line where Lewis Riddick and Tracy Perkins come in to make the stop. 15 yards on the reception.
You know what happened early in the ball game when Barcelona went up top, caught the ball, it was nullified by a penalty and brought back. It has made Sacramento a little bit concerned about going to their man-to-man coverage, what they like to play more than zone. They're in zone now, and they don't play the zone real well. Plus, zone coverages are easier to attack with a tight end.
It's important to send a message sometimes in football, Dick, whether you're going to continue to do it or not, but just to let them know you can do it.
You bet.
1st and 10, they'll give it to Palmer, and he is stacked up on the left side. Nate Hill, 96, was the first man to get to him. This has been the bane of the Barcelona team, the running back situation. Palmer's been banged up all year. He has just 259 yards rushing coming into the game. Joe Mickles just 184. As a matter of fact, backup quarterback Tony Rice has been their leading rusher in 3 of the last 4 games.
They don't try to run enough, though, really.
There's a look at Tony.
There's Rice, number 4, on the left side of your screen.
And I'll tell you what, the Sacramento coaches were fearful that he was going to play today because he started against them last year and tore him up.
He can run so well.
2nd down and 10. Woods was the man in motion. Ernie going down to the end zone. Big crowd down there. The intended receiver was number 87, Tony Moss, but he had 3 defenders around him. One of them being Michael Jones, who's all over the field. George Bethune was the pressure man. And we talked yesterday about the speed of those Sacramento linebackers.
Well, they're the fastest linebackers. They all run 4 or 5 or better. But, you know, talking about speed, the point we made earlier, the quarterback was flushed that time and being chased by the slowest defensive lineman. So he lucked out there. He was able to get the ball off.
2 minutes to go, 1st quarter. And if the game seems to be moving a little quickly this week, folks, that's because the clock is not stopping on incomplete passes until the final 5 minutes of the half and the game. Remember, they switched that back about 4 weeks ago. So this game's going to be speeding along a little bit better, as number 82 over there on the reception was Dempsey Norman, but they say it was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds. It was the deep out pattern. You'll see it moving to the right side of your screen. Dempsey Norman wearing number 82. There he goes, 1 foot down, 2nd foot on the line. He could have, with a little better discipline, kept both of those feet in. I think he lost track of where that line was.
Keith English to punt it. He leads the World League in punts. I don't know if that's a great honor or not. This is his 55th this year. And
nice job.
Speedy Eddie Brown is back. What a great high punt that is. It takes a big bounce. So that'll go into the end zone, 41 yards on the punt. And Sacramento tried to get it working with 1:41 to go, 1st quarter.
He's in Manhattan on Wednesday, Frankfurt on Thursday, Paris, Rome, and Vienna after that.
He believes it's better to do business across a table than over a fax machine. This year, he'll fly more than 100,000 miles with us because he knows nobody understands him better than we do. At Delta, when we say we love to fly and it shows, this is where it shows.
Save the planet. The American Paradise. United States Virgin Islands.
See your travel agent or call us for more information.
The Brooker boys are here on tour. What's been the highlight of your Lake Edna stop, Matt?
I'd say this new honey barbecue chicken, Russ. Fried chicken glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey. Get 2 pieces with baked beans, coleslaw, and a biscuit in a roundup meal for just $2.99.
Woo-wee! That was completely unsolicited.
The 2-piece honey barbecue roundup meal, just $2.99, or the 8-piece meal, just $9.99 for a limited time in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
And the total yards so far, Barcelona 60, Sacramento -8, 1:14 to go, first quarter. Archer's 0 of 4, and he's been sacked once for 10 yards.
You know what happens? Sacramento's like on a real good win streak, and sometimes you get a little too happy in those win streaks. That's what I always used to worry about as a coach. You see everybody smiling, and the only guy really uptight is the head coach. And you noticed that on the practice field the other day.
But Dick, you know, that 5-game winning streak by Sacramento includes just 1 win over a team with a winning record. That was San Antonio last week. The others were London, Montreal, Frankfurt, and Ohio. So the reality is some of the other teams they played weren't the very best in the World League. As Archer's going to go up top. Number 82, Mark Stock, is down there, but it's just overthrown. On the coverage was Adrian Jones, number 23. And so far today, this banged-up secondary from Barcelona's played pretty well.
They're hanging in there. Actually, that should have been 6 points. Dave Archer has not been missing that pass. Here he misses him.
You see the starting secondary there on the first, and then this last week, 0 for 5 for Archer. See, Hardy was just acquired May 19th, and there's another player, Herb Welch, who started for Sacramento, then was released, and now has been picked up and is playing for Barcelona. There's Jones, the World League Defensive Player of the Year. 36 seconds to go, first quarter. Archer down the middle, finally gets a pass completed. That was Paul Green, his tight end, number 83. Brad Quast, the linebacker from Iowa, was right there on top of it.
Neither team seems content to go ahead and run the football. Now, Barcelona defensive coaches are concerned about the speed and everything that Sacramento has, and they just proved on that last deep pass that they can get deep. But they don't want them in a 2-mode offense, both running and passing. And so far, Sacramento really is just throwing the football.
As David Archer lets the clock run out in the first quarter, we'll return after this word from our ABC stations.
Sunday, it's Eastwood at Reynolds. Clint Eastwood and Burt Reynolds together in City Heat Sunday.
You're free to get out of the house. You're free to get out of town. You're free to pick your pace up without being tied down. You're free to leave anytime, go in any direction, and still stay in touch, 'cause you got connection.
For the phones, pagers, and directories that put you in the right place anytime, call Southwestern Bell.
With Southwestern Bell, you got great connection.
Welcome back to Sega Sports. Hey, we're talking baseball. Sega Genesis Sports Talk Baseball. Sandberg's facing Ryan. Here's the voice, Sports Talk Baseball.
291. High drive.
Sierra back. What a catch, baby! All the superstars are here, Dick. Canseco, Clark, Dykstra, Franco. Ripken's up. Back to the game
ball. Inside. Ball 4.
Keep on trucking, baby. Look good to me, Dick. Don't give me any lip, buddy. You're out of here. Football is next.
Channel 13 is proud to announce that the Associated Press has honored 13 Eyewitness News with a number of awards. Bob Allen received the award for Best Sportscast, the third time he's received this prestigious award. 13 Eyewitness News won the Best General Assignment Award for a report on Houston sport. 13 undercover reporter Wayne Dolcefino received an award for his report on computer practices in the HISD system. And Live at 5's Alan Hamburger was honored for a report on television programs for children. 13 Eyewitness News, where caring makes the difference.
Visit the Houston Zoological Gardens. World League Football. Brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody's cooking like today's KFC.
As we get set to start the second quarter, I'm Roger Twybo along with Dick Vermeil, Jim Valvano, Julie Moran, and it has been the scoring quarter in the World League this year. 44% of all points have come in the second quarter as the Surge, they've scored 117 points in the second quarter this year on a 3rd and 4 for David Archer. He goes to his back. That's Tony Burst, and he doesn't get enough for the first down. 55, Brad Quast made the tackle as Burst, who doesn't carry the ball a lot, but is a good blocker for David Archer, doesn't get enough for the first down, so the Barcelona defense comes up big again.
Well, when we get a chance here to take a look at the first quarter graphics, it's going to really demonstrate what you're talking about.
That's Woods back deep, averaging 7.7 yards a return. Neese from inside his 15. That's a beautiful punt right there. And the fair catch is called. It looked like the sun might have bothered him a bit, and it's going to roll inside the 10-yard line down to the 8. Thomas Woods called for the fair catch and then lost it in the sun, and consequently, instead of having the ball around the 20, it goes back inside the 10-yard line.
You can definitely see that he was looking up there, and you'll see now the sun is over and facing him as he looks up into it. Now all of a sudden he can't see it anymore. It comes right down through that sun, and the sun is intense.
63 yards. That's a World League playoff record for a punt right there by Neese, who earlier this year was also their place kicker. Now, the numbers. Go for it, Dick.
You know, surprisingly, Barcelona really dominating Sacramento. Sacramento's the #2 offense in the World League in total yards and all that. Here they are, -4 passing, total yards -2, 2 yards rushing. Nothing so far.
1st and 10, ball at the 8-yard line for Scott Ernie. And the Barcelona Dragons, as he'll go underneath, his intended receiver, Joe Mickles, number 34.
Wait.
As Mickles coming out of the backfield was covered by Corian Freeman, number 95. Let's go down to Julie.
Well, Barcelona General Manager Jack Till, you certainly know something about football. You've been in it for 33 years. But what attracted you to the World League?
I think the challenge of it, you're like a missionary, Julie. It's fun to go to Spain and teach and learn and help and be a big deal. It's great fun there. It really is.
How have the people in Barcelona responded to American football?
Sorry?
How have the people in Barcelona responded to American football?
Our last two crowds, Julie, were 49,000 and 41,000, and they've learned the game. They do the wave, they yell ole, and they genuinely have a great time.
All right, well, thanks for stopping by, Jack.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you very much, Julie. As the completion there to Thomas Woods, number 85, as he was able to break a tackle and get up near the first down markers. Jack Teal told us yesterday he was getting to see his kids for the first time in about 6 months. They were coming up from Southern California.
Yeah, from Long Beach, California.
And, of course, you and Jack worked together years ago with the Rams.
For 4 years,
yeah.
You bet. You know, Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, has got to tell his secondary and remind them to come to balance better in trying to tackle Thomas Woods, because they're missing him every time. They've got to remind them to be a little more patient in their approach to tackling him.
3rd down and 2 for the Dragons, and movement once again. And so in another critical situation, we'll see who they're going to call it on.
I really believe it's on the offense. I don't believe the center snapped the ball.
The offense, 3rd down.
Again, they're in the shotgun for the first time. That quarterback is 6 yards away from the center. His hands aren't up underneath. That center isn't used to that sound command. He didn't hear it. He didn't snap the ball.
Are you saying Bobby Sign didn't get the signal, huh?
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad it's the last game. I can't handle many more of those.
There's 52, Bobby Sign. I got to stick up for those centers, Dick, you know?
I know, yeah.
3rd down and 7. 12:42 to go. First half. No score in this game.
It looks like blitz. It is.
Ernie gets rid of it. Picked off. Picked off by Louis Riddick. Touchdown, Sacramento. 12 yards on the return, second interception of the year for Louis Riddick out of Pitt.
See, they came up with a blitz, Roger. Turned the linebacker loose inside. See, now he's flushed right away. He lays it out there under pressure, and there's Riddick playing him man-to-man, coming inside out on him, picks it off, walks it in for the touchdown.
Mike Sinclair had the pressure that time on quarterback Scott Ernie, and we have seen so many times with Barcelona this year, they play good football. They're right there. The offense turns it over, then all of a sudden, a bad play by the offense again, as the defense has been doing the job, as Kerry Blanchard, 17 of 17 this year on extra points, will come in. And he's done that in their last 4 games now, 18 of 18 as he joined them after the midway point of the season. So the defense comes up big for Sacramento.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
In a world of sweeping changes, there is one certainty. The financial strength of the rock. The Prudential Rock Solid.
This year, the Lake Edna Players present the Wild West Review. Tonight, director Lauren Clark tried to motivate her cast of cowboys with new KFC honey barbecue chicken.
Fried chicken glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey.
The chicken was unbelievable, as were a few of the performances. Try the 2-piece honey barbecue roundup meal, just $2.99, or the 8-piece meal, just $9.99 for a limited time in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
You'll see the man-to-man coverage, Riddick right here on the man in motion as he goes across. Woods, he comes in and dissects it as they get the linebacker blitz up inside and Sinclair in his face to the outside. See the man-to-man coverage. Here comes the blitz up inside. He's flushed. There, Sinclair gets in his face as well. He dissects it right there, inside out. Obviously, Scott Ernie didn't see him.
John Nees will kick it off. Dempsey Norman, 84, is back deep. Excuse me, number 82, Dempsey Norman. And across the 30 to the 31-yard line, 36-yard return by Dempsey Norman. After the play, this is what Scott Ernie had to say in regards to that interception.
Yeah, I didn't see that guy at all. I thought they blew coverage. He was flat, wide open.
All right, you know when they come with the blitz like that, it's going to be man.
Right, I thought that they let him go. I didn't see anybody on him.
Well, see, Riddick was chasing him all the way across the field. An experienced quarterback would have known all along that he's locked on.
First down and 10 for Barcelona. They trail at 7-0.
Blue 38! Blue 38!
Low snap that time. Ernie handles it. And overthrown, the intended receiver right there was Tony Moss, 87, first-year pro out of LSU.
Personally, Roger, I think Barcelona is playing right into Sacramento's hands. The defensive coaches from Sacramento told me we don't want them running. The best thing we do is defense the pass and rush the passer. Not intercept it, but rush the passer.
Well, they were scared that the Barcelona Dragons were going to run the football. And in all honesty, if there's a weak spot with Sacramento, they allow more yards per carry than any other team in the World League. But so far today, when they've tried to run with it, they've been totally ineffective. Second and 10. Going underneath. The man there is Tony Moss as they tried to drop that wide receiver behind the offensive line, but Derek Kelson, number 44 out of Purdue, was right there on top of him.
Really good. That was the inside middle screen, and he read it all the way and just went and picked it up. And I've been waiting for people to run the inside middle screen more to a running back, more so than to a wide receiver. because I do think it would be an effective offensive play.
Now all of a sudden you can feel that momentum of this game where Barcelona came out, had that good first drive, missed the field goal, tried to do something the second time offensively. Now all of a sudden, 3rd and 12.
It's blitz again.
Yeah. They're showing it from all sides, and whistle is blowing. Penalty marker goes down.
See, when you don't run the football, you give the advantage to the offense in that they can get those 4 down linemen, wait for it, and they can rush without concern for the
False
run.
Start before the snap, number 72 in the offense, still 3rd down.
Well, it's Jack Bicknell. His left tackle, Ike Harris, was the man with the false start.
Top left-hand side of your screen. You see him moving. See, he saw the blitz coming, and that made him a little nervous, and he moved outside to get the outside rusher, George Bethune, number 93.
Well, it was Perkins and Kelson showing blitz that time. And this is what you get yourself into. And an offensive lineman's worst nightmare is a 3rd down and 12, 3rd down and 17, because the defense is going to come one way.
Especially against the best pass rush team in the World League. 28 sacks, 39 sacks, sacked the quarterback every 9th pass attempt. Outstanding pass rush.
Dragons 1 of 4 on 3rd down situations. Ernie is going to go downtown with it. And it's overthrown. The intended receiver down there was 85, Thomas Woods. Step for step was Robert McWright. I was talking to Jack Youngblood yesterday, who does the radio commentary for Sacramento. I asked him about their corners. He said, listen, those guys are really fast. They're 4-3 burners. He said they're going to take a few chances, get beat once in a while.
Well, Robert McWright is the corner that got beat early in the ball game, and unfortunately it was called back, but that did send an alert to him. From now on, sit back. These guys can run.
Keith English, the punter, back at his 11-yard line. And another penalty marker goes down. There was a man, it looked like a man on the field for Sacramento, but they're going to...
False start, number 90 on the offense.
You know, they missed it.
5-yard penalty. 4th down.
There was a Sacramento player standing out on the field, and Kay Stevenson ran out there and got him.
They call the false start. You know, in the punt formation, you're up in a 2-point stance, so you can move and reset. It's not like having your hand down in a 3-point stance, which you can't lift.
Barcelona 4 penalties for 20 yards, and that brings up a 4th down and 22. Eddie Brown is back deep.
He's had 2 blocked this year.
Brown at the 40. Penalty marker. Oh. Eddie Brown across midfield to the 47-yard line, where Adrian Jones, 23, who's from Missouri, and Brown from Iowa State, who played against each other in the Big 8, met head-to-head. But a penalty marker is down on the play.
There's the referee, Gary Lane.
You were impressed with Eddie Brown, what he does when he gets the football.
Oh, he does. He's an explosive type kid, and I know he has very good speed, but when you catch 12 touchdown passes, you're doing something right. 4 of them
holding.
Over.
Number 83 on the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
4 of those touchdowns were for better than 50 yards.
Paul Green got called for holding. 7-0, Sacramento leads it.
Who will be tomorrow's hot new music star?
Join your host, Malcolm Jamal Warner.
With special guests,
Victoria Jackson, David Faustino,
Jenny Garth, and the hot rap group Salt and Pepper.
From the Universal Amphitheater in Hollywood.
As we search for the hottest new talent.
The USA Music Challenge.
Tuesday.
Welcome back to Sega Sports. Hey, we're talking baseball. Sega Genesis Sports Talk Baseball. Sandberg's facing Ryan. Here's the voice of Sports Talk Baseball.
291. High drive.
Sierra back. What a catch, baby. All the superstars are here, Dick. Canseco, Clark, Dykstra, Franco. Ripken's up. Back to the game announcer.
Inside. Ball 4.
Keep on trucking, baby. Look good to me, Dick. Don't give me your lip, buddy. You're out of here. Football is next.
Sunday night at 10:30, her fantasies were her most valued possession until he broke into her life and stole them.
The odds against a crook being sensitive enough to get into your diaries is about 1,000,000 to 1.
Her private thoughts, his secret obsessions. He knows all about her now, and he won't stop till he becomes part of her life.
It's got to stop. No! Please stop!
Stephen Bauer is the Thief of Hearts. Sunday night at 10:30, here on 13.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll have highlights of last night's Birmingham-Orlando game and talk live with quarterback Scott Mitchell of the Thunder. Dick and I will have first half analysis, and Jim and Julie with their locker room reports. And last night, Scott Mitchell, 11 of 19, 215 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Yeah, no PIs.
That is key right there. Eddie Brown again, as we look at David Archer. Even going back to his college days, he was always a big play man.
That's right, and even in the Canadian Football League both years, he averaged better than 21 yards per reception.
And Archer says what he loves to do is getting that little 5-yard hitch pass and then let him lurk out there with the defenders and make a big play out of it. Penalty marker down at the 35-yard line after the run into the line of scrimmage by 23 Mike Pringle.
They've got to throw Greg Gilbert out of the ballgame if they saw that for 2 plays, because he just threw a vicious right cross. In championship games, you got to keep your poise. Here's 51 Greg Gilbert in the middle of your screen. See, he got blocked, he got turned out, he didn't like it. Now watch this. He keeps going. There goes the right cross out of the ballgame for 2 plays.
Gilbert, 51, third-year pro from Alabama, will come out, and 90 Matt Kelly will come in to take his place.
A lack of self-discipline.
And that's something that Barcelona just doesn't need. I mean, they're just right on the edge right now in this game.
That's right. And what you mentioned earlier about Eric Naposki not playing, yep. He's their first-string outside linebacker. Greg Gilbert second. Now they've got their third-string outside linebacker playing. Stupid on the part of Greg Gilbert.
Well, Jack Bicknell was letting him have it as he came off the field.
He's
first and 10 from the 49-yard line. Play action. Archer has got Pringle open. Pringle inside the 40, down to the 34-yard line, the Cal State Fullerton product. Let's go down to Jim Valvano. Jim?
Hey, Rod, you know, I've always wondered, is the offense and the defense, they talk, do they get along, they pay attention to each other? Well, the Sacramento Surge, I've been on 2 of their offensive meetings, and they're very concerned that they force their defense to stay on the field so long. They want to mount a drive. I also talked to David Archer and say, hey, what's going on? He said the Barcelona defense is so disciplined in their drops and their spacing is so good that he's been unable to find seams in that defense, but he's very confident, as the whole offense is, that they will find those seams and mount a drive. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Jim. There's a man down on the field right now for the Barcelona Dragons. And temperatures above 90 today and rising. 9:04 to go, first half. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, fellas, have you seen what McCulloch's been up to?
No, we've been on vacation.
There it is.
Hey, Barney, that's no chainsaw. It's too skinny.
It's a McCulloch string trimmer.
String trimmer?
It cuts weeds and edges grass in places where a lawnmower won't go.
Looks like a gas-powered golf club.
Actually, it's more like a chainsaw for weeds.
First chainsaws, now string trimmers. What's McCulloch going to come up with next? How about a road map? I think we're lost. A beaver is never lost.
See the new, more powerful McCulloch string trimmers at your McCulloch dealer and put Mac to work.
The Brooker boys are here on tour. What's been the highlight of your Lake Edna stop, Matt?
I'd say this new honey barbecued chicken, Russ. Fried chicken glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey. Get 2 pieces with baked beans, coleslaw, and a biscuit in a round-up meal for just $2.99.
Woo-wee! That was completely unsolicited.
Oh, what?
The 2-piece honey barbecue roundup meal, just $2.99, or the 8-piece meal, just $9.99 for a limited time in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Introducing the new Jeep. With an all-new 4-wheel drive system and exclusive standard driver's side airbag. No other vehicle gives you so much latitude.
Spend the weekend with the PGA Tour's top players in my old hometown. The Memorial Tournament Telecast, sponsored by Dean Witter. Live coverage begins Saturday on ABC Sports.
Well, that's the way they dress in the desert, and they'll do it here in Sacramento this afternoon. Wet towels over the head, the baseball cap on. As game time temperature was 85 and rising, and by the middle of the afternoon, supposed to get up near 100 here. 1st and 10 for the Surge, and the pitch back will come to Pringle. Good defensive job right there by 51 Greg Gilbert, the man that had to go out for the 2 plays. And you like to see that. A guy makes a stupid mistake, comes out of the game for 2 plays. The coach jumps on him. He comes back in and makes a good stop.
Well, it was full flow, and they were in a strong formation to his side. Now, you'll see him going to the right side of your screen. You'll see the linebacker here. You see Brad Quast, 55, tracking. There's Gilbert, number 51, working inside out. See, keeping him going to the sideline. Then if you don't get help, at least the sideline will help you. That time he just made the play by himself. Good play.
Came into the game with 25 tackles on the year. 2nd down and 14 as the Barcelona defense once more is asked to come up big as Carl Parker will go in motion to the far side. Archer's looking that way. Parker's got it inside the 20. And now, did he lose the football? One official saying reception. The other one is saying no, he dropped it.
They might have knocked it out, but what Dave Archer told Jim Balbano about, he's going to try to find the seams. Well, that's what he was talking about. He found the seam in the zone down there between the corner and the safety. He threw it perfectly right in there. It would have been a little better throw if he'd have thrown the ball just a little lower. He sort of hung the guy out to dry. You'll see what I'm talking about here at the tail end of this play. He throws it down to the left-hand corner of your screen. Now, it's high and up in the air, and he doesn't get it tucked away quickly enough, and it gets knocked out of there. Good safety play.
3rd down and 14. Pressure now. Archer goes up top. Archer took a mean hit that time at midfield. Adrian Jones was on the coverage, but it was 56 Ron Getz who was in his face.
You know, Barcelona has changed their personality. You'll see they're blitzing here. Barcelona almost never blitzes. They've already blitzed 3 times in this football game, and they're getting good pressure, as you see on that screen.
Well, when they've lost 3 guys in the starting secondary, you've got to change something, because obviously you're not going to have the same sort of talent level back there as you had before.
Yeah, but when you blitz, you're forcing them to man-to-man coverage. Well, you better get there.
You got to take some chances, man. Thomas Woods, 85, was the man back deep. His knees will send that high punt.
Nice punt.
And a good bounce. And it'll be down at about the 6-yard line. So nicely done there. The man to come down to put it down was Tony Burrs, 28. 31 yards on the punt by Neese, who, I don't know if his dad's busy this week. He's an NBA referee. Will be. Coming up next Saturday at a special time, 1 Eastern, 12 noon Central, and 3 Pacific. ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour heads to Portland for the Oregon Open. And at 2:30 Eastern, ABC Sports to begin live weekend coverage of the Memorial Tournament, sponsored by Dean Witter. That's all coming up Saturday on ABC Sports. Barcelona. 1st and 10 from their own 6-yard line. Joe Mickles is the lone setback. Man in motion is Tony Moss. Mickles will get it. He's got some room up the middle. Mickles up to near the 15-yard line, where Louis Riddick, 42 out of Pitt. 73 tackles by Riddick coming into the game.
You'll see here, you can't run unless you call it good zone man-to-man blocking. See, he gets the whole stretch up inside there. Linebacker vacated way too soon. Michael Jones, number 55, getting out of there too quick. He is awfully fast.
Brett Weesey, 79, had the key block there. 4th-year pro from Washington, 6'4" and 295. 2nd down, and let's call it about a yard. As they'll go inside to Mickles again, and he is stacked up right there. No room. David Westbrook, 77, 1st-year pro out of Howard University in our nation's capital, makes a stop.
See, the defensive front that time forced him to cut back a little more drastically to his left, and the defensive end, as you said, number 77, David Westbrook, was coming down from the backside, no place to go.
Dick, you know, this defense for Sacramento lost the #1 ranking to San Antonio by a mere 27 yards. Hope that didn't affect their bonus money at all. 3rd down and 1. Ernie got a guy, 81, Terry O'Shea. Terry O'Shea, who came into this game with just 7 receptions, with his 2nd catch of the day. And I'll tell you, there's some action on the sideline between Demetrius Davis and 58 Randy Thornton, the pro wrestler again.
Again, we have temper flaring up down there. The time to show your championship poise is when you get a chance to play in a championship game. And they're not doing it right now.
There's Demetrius Davis out of Nevada, Reno, so he's not too far from home right here.
No, he's from Vallejo.
Yeah,
went
from
to Vallejo. That's not far. Someone said he had to get 200 tickets to come for his friends to come to the ball game.
I don't think he got them.
No?
I'll let you in a secret.
There's not 200 extra.
No, there's not 200.
Necessary roughness. Number 58 on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Well, that's Randy Thornton,
again,
known as RT in Japan on the pro wrestling circuit.
See, they were in an all-run formation to the right side of your screen. Now they fake and come out real strong fake. No one look at. They had two wing backs over there. Here he is, number one. Then he gets the block downfield from Demetrius Davis, and he heads up the sideline and gets knocked out of bounds or just steps out of bounds before contact. So good call, guts call.
So Terry O'Shea, of all the receivers, had the fewest catches coming into the game. Has gotten 2 so far. First and 10, Ernie will hand it off up the middle. Once again, they got a hole, and Joe Mickles, the third-year pro from Ole Miss, gets it to midfield, and another penalty marker goes down, as once again it's Demetrius Davis over on the far side. This time I didn't see who he was mixing it up with.
Well, Ike Harris was involved in that too, number 72, the big left tackle. The most important thing you can do with your intensity.
Conduct, dead ball, number 86 on the white, number 72 on the offense. Both players are suspended for 2 downs.
Well, that was, they say Ike Harris, and then
Carl Parker. No, it wouldn't be Carl Parker.
I think he said 82 on the white.
He's got him wrong. Yeah, he's got him wrong. I saw Ike Harris.
Ike Harris is going off, and it looks like 96 is coming off. That's Nate Hill.
Right in the center of your screen, you'll see it going right there. That's Nate Hill, 96, getting involved in it.
And Demetrius Davis just happened to be in the nearby.
See, but the trouble is now Ike Harris is out there. They have an offensive left tackle in there that's not an experienced offensive lineman.
That's Mike Hinnett, number 63 out of Temple, who's taken his place. As across midfield goes Joe Mickles, 5'11", 225.
Important to run the ball, Raj. You know, the teams that have winning records in the World League this year ran the ball 6 times a game more than the teams that have losing records. And the only way you can run it, Chuck Knox taught me this, is to call it. That's the only way you can. People give up on it too soon.
Well, you'd like to get that nice mix. Obviously, there are teams. Obviously, there are teams. I mean, Sacramento would like to throw it more than to run it, but you set up the pass by using the run.
Slow down the pass rush.
Exactly. 3rd and 4. 4:28 to go. First half. Ernie, right at the sticks. Number 85 makes the reception over there. That's Thomas Woods. Robert McBride on the coverage.
He didn't make the first down. You know something, in a championship game, I don't think he made it. You might as well go ahead and go for it on 4th and inches. Here it is. He goes back to catch the ball, and that's going to be a measurement. I don't know if he made it. But here you are, 4th and inches. But here you are, 4th and inches. What the heck? Call it and go for it.
Now let's see if where the spot is, because I thought he just had to get to
it's close.
Right to the 45-yard line.
Do you agree with me, though?
Absolutely.
4th and inches. Hey, you know, granted, we're only in the 2nd quarter, but you're not a great offensive team anyway. You've got the ball on the plus side of the 50. Go ahead and see if you can get going.
But the other side of the coin is your strength is your defense. And the defense has come up strong here a couple times, especially on the last possession. If you punt it, try to get them down there in their own end zone. You got 4:03 to go. And maybe you think, hey, going out 7-0's not bad. This is an explosive offense. You know Sacramento's going to come on strong before it's all over.
Everything you say is true, but I'm not sure they're going to come on strong before it's all over. I still think they ought to go for it. They need this kind of lift. And if you can't make an inch, then you don't belong in a championship game.
Okay, well said. 4th down. So far this year, Barcelona 1 of 4.
Plus,
4th down possession. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not your deal, right? 1 of 4. Scott Ernie tries a quarterback sneak. And once again, that's the judgment call, the spot, if you will.
You know, I can remember this, the first major win against Dallas in the Eagle organization. We beat them on a similar play, but we went deep for the touchdown on 4th and inches and made it. Sometimes when a team is better than you, you've got to do the unusual, the unexpected.
Dick, on a quarterback sneak, did you tell your QB to go low, try to dive in and get down below people, or go up high, or just look for the opening?
Normally that was dictated by game plan. Normally you could see which defensive lineman, when he was in a gap, would come higher than the other, and you would pick that direction and try to get your offensive lineman underneath that guy and go in that direction.
Clock running. They did get the first down, of course, 1st and 10. Mickles bucks off the right side. Mickles inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. And all of a sudden, Barcelona starting to run the football. Louis Riddick makes the stop after 11 yards on the pickup by Joe Mickles, who came into the game averaging just 3.2 yards a carry.
very, very simple, basic running blocking. Just coming off man-to-man. Linebacker again flowing out of there a little too soon.
Well, Barcelona did not do many things very well offensively this year, and running certainly wasn't one of them. But right now, they are running the football as the clock moves down below 2:30. Left to go, first half, and Nichols will get it again. And he's stacked up right there.
That time they tried to trap block it up inside, and that gives the linebacker an initial read better than zone blocking, and it kept him in place, and he stepped up there and took it.
73, Bill Goldberg. 6'3", 270 out of Georgia. Made the stop.
You know, I watched him play on tape last week in their game against San Antonio. He really empties the bucket on every snap. He likes to play. He's a real bulldog.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. Sacramento leads Barcelona 7-0.
Before we made a driver's minivan airbag standard in the Plymouth Voyager and the Dodge Caravan, we tested it. We did the same with our available all-wheel drive and ABS brakes. And now for 1992, Chrysler introduces the world's first built-in fold-away child seat. And for this latest achievement, we'd like to thank all the little people who made it possible.
Last time I stained my house with that other brand. This time, I'm using Thompson stain.
Only Thompson's House and Deck Stain contains Thompson's Water Seal. It waterproofs better than even the leading brand's premium stain.
Now that's beautiful protection.
Thompson's Stain.
In case you need to push your truck, Yokohama high-performance light truck tires.
Everybody hates to eat and run. We'd rather take it slow. But the way this life is going, gotta grab your food and go. And when all that running round catches up with you at last, get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
For acid indigestion or heartburn with headache, nothing's faster or more effective than Alka-Seltzer.
Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
You'll notice this time that Michael Jones, this guy did not flow out of there because the center blocked back, and Brent Weesey, the guard, stepped around, and that gave him something to read, and he stepped up and took it on rather than base man-to-man blocking, see, and then he turned it right back into his buddy, Goldberg.
Well, Sacramento, their defense allowed 112.6 yards per game rushing this year, 4.6 per carry, the most in the World League. On 2nd and 9, Scott Ernie and the Barcelona Dragons with 2 minutes to go. First half, they trail by a touchdown. Coming near side, he's got his wide receiver over there, Tony Moss, and he gets, no, they're going to say he didn't get out of bounds.
You know that Sinclair and Brad Hinkey are really having a good fight over there. Brad Hinkey, the offensive right tackle, and Mike Sinclair, the defensive left end. They're having a real good battle, Pass protection against a good pass rusher.
Junior Robinson made the tackle that time as the clock will continue to run now. There's a look at Junior Robinson out of East Carolina University, 5'9", 181. Pirates with a terrific team this past year. Ernie got once again number 87 over there, Tony Moss, the second leading receiver on the Barcelona Dragons. And that is a first down.
What the good thing he did, though, Roger, is he came back for the football away from the defender. Now watch the ball as it goes to the right of your screen. See him working back away from the defender. Good job of what we call the comeback route. Now old Sid Gilman, the old San Diego Charger coach, would love that. He's the guy that really brought those principles to the National Football League.
There's Moss, 5'8" and 175. Scott Ernie's got his team moving with 1:18 to go first half.
So, new jobs, new apartment, new neighbor.
Wait a second.
What?
Okay, let's say you're boiling some sugar. Things start to get a little sweet, and then she notices,
She's got flakes?
Not her, you.
Hey, my shampoo gets rid of flakes.
Come on, you need one that works to neutralize dandruff before it starts.
Neutralize it?
Whatever.
Head and Shoulders. But you don't have dandruff.
Exactly.
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
There's a driving force in golf that's taking the game to new heights. It's a non-profit organization formed in 1894 and dedicated to preserving golf's integrity and traditions, researching turfgrass, protecting the environment, and testing new balls and equipment so that you can excel and give it your best shot. That force is the United States Golf Association. Join us. Call and become a USGA associate today. Call 1-800-345-USGA.
1:18 to go, first half. Sacramento by Louis Riddick. Interception for the touchdown, leads Barcelona 7-0, but the Dragons have it 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line, as they have been able to run the ball effectively on this drive. Paul Palmer's in there as a lone setback. And Ernie gets nailed back at the 27-yard line by number 73, Bill Goldberg, his 4th sack of the year.
Bill Goldberg beat Brett Weesey to the inside. Good contact. You can hear it up here. Let's take a listen. Ooh, that's smarts.
Well, they led the World League in sacks this year, and 14 different players that got in on sacks as Ernie loses the handle. Now he throws it. What a catch right there. 85, Thomas Woods brings it in at the 12 yards, make it the 16-yard line, excuse me. You know, what a scrambling effort right there by Scott Ernie.
Barcelona has not really been very good inside the red zone. They've only scored 6 touchdowns. The 21 times they're in there for just a little under 30%. Not very good.
Hi. You know why Quaker State asked me to be their spokesman? Because I'm tough. Quaker State is tough. Tough on wear and tough on sludge. If you use Quaker State in your new car's engine, they'll guarantee it for 250,000 miles or 10 years in writing. Quaker State is one tough motor oil. So naturally they asked me because I'm tough. You don't think it's because they think I'm oily?
He's in Manhattan on Wednesday, Frankfurt on Thursday, Paris, Rome, and Vienna after that. He believes it's better to do business across a table than over a fax machine. This year, he'll fly more than 100,000 miles with us because he knows nobody understands him better than we do. At Delta, when we say we love to fly and it shows, this is where it shows.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, Scott Mitchell will be joining us live from Orlando to talk about their victory last night over Birmingham and their approach to the World Bowl next week in Montreal. It's back here. It's 3rd and 11, 41 seconds to go. The 14th play of the drive, and it looked like a Sacramento player jumped off as busting through to knock down the pass was 93 George Bethune, third-year pro out of Alabama, but there is a penalty marker down.
I think Sacramento was offside, but Sacramento's done the same thing each time in his first half.
Lined up in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
It's just lined up wrong, but they've gotten you in 3rd and real long, and they've lined up and come after you with a blitz, and Barcelona has not been able to handle the blitz.
I see the timeouts remaining. The offense this year for Barcelona has produced only 8 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 6 passing. They have 10 touchdowns on the year.
See, but the other thing is what they've done with that 5-yard penalty. If they don't make it and have to go for a field goal, they improve the percentages of making the field goal by like 12%.
3rd down and 6. Nichols is a lone setback. Fumble, and Ernie falls on it. Goodness, once again, every time they get themselves in a position to make something happen, a mistake.
Normally, in this situation, I think Ernie came out a little early. No, he had the ball like that. It got knocked out by his running back, Nichols. It got knocked out as he went back. He had it secure. He had it up in the proper position, up between the numbers, working his way back. Just didn't expect the running back to knock it out.
Clock continues to run. Teddy Garcia now 36 yards out, 4 of 8 from 30 to 39 yards. He missed his first attempt at 46. And he got that one. So the Barcelona Dragons, boy, 16 plays on that drive, is able to get them 3 points. They'll take what they can get. Let's go down to Jim Valvano. Jim?
Coach Vermeer, a little coaching point here. I always felt that if I was playing the club that I was supposed to beat, the longer that they stayed close, hey, that wasn't very good for my squad. And I think the fact that Barcelona, right, has scored at 7-3, and also the fact that Sacramento's defense has been on the field so long, that would cause me some concern.
I agree with you 100%, Jim. It isn't any difference in football or basketball. It's all the same.
Well, Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, it's the toughest leg of the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. Preakness winner Pine Bluff will take on the country's top 3-year-olds with $1 million bonus up for grabs. It's the mile-and-a-half test, the Belmont Stakes. Plus, the American Championship Racing Series continues with the Nassau County Handicap. It's all live starting at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on ABC Sports. 3 seconds left to go in the first half, and who would have thought that this high-powered Sacramento offense would not produce a point and a half?
Yeah, I'm surprised at that, but I'm not surprised at close. I'm really not.
Short kickoff, and number 83, Paul Green, takes it. And that will do it for the first half. And we'll return with the Prudential Halftime Report after this message from the World League and a word from our ABC stations.
It began as a grand vision, expanding America's favorite sport into new cities, in new countries, creating a new type of spring entertainment spectacle, daring a new breed of player to greatness, showcasing an intensity of play fueled by passion for the game. Offering a sports experience with color, sound, and non-stop action. For new fans, proudly displaying their team colors and cheering their favorite stars. The grand vision is now reality, as players in 5 countries take the field every week in a 10-team dash for the World Bowl trophy. America's favorite sport has boldly moved forward, reaching out to more fans in more places than ever before. The World League, expanding the future of pro football.
Monday, 850 pounds of pure TNT.
I don't think we can disarm it.
The man who blew up armies on FBI, the untold stories. Then, from the streets to the house next door.
I have never seen anything as bad as this.
American Detective.
There's a cool, dry breeze blowing down from the Rockies. Coors Dry. Double chilled to ensure brewery fresh taste and a finish as clean as ice. Then it's kept cold all the way to your store, so it's not just a better dry. This is a better beer. Double chilled Coors Dry. Try it and feel the chill.
Marshall Ford Mercury, out here in Hempstead, is going to be the largest Ford dealer in America. And the Marshall family knows how to do it. It takes selection, including those really special Ford trucks, and low prices every day. Come see our full selection of 92 Ford and Mercury cars and trucks with low Marshall discount prices. So come to the country, Marshall Ford Mercury Country, just out 290 to Hempstead.
Stephen Bauer stars, 10:30 tonight here on 13.
The Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
We're at halftime here at Hornet Field in Sacramento, California, as the Sacramento Surge leads the Barcelona Dragons 7-3. Last night in the other World League playoff game down at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando between the Thunder and the Birmingham Fire, the defense came up big. Mike Norseth of the Birmingham Fire is going to be tackled by Dan Cilio in the end zone, and quickly Orlando out to a 2-0 lead. Then Scott Mitchell, the left-hander, Going to run? No, he's going to pass it to Joe Howard Johnson, 45 yards and the touchdown, and it's 7-0, the Orlando Thunder. Joe Howard Johnson's had a great year catching the football, and this enhancement player from the Washington Redskins, the 5-year veteran, can also run with it on the punts. For the second time this year, he takes one all the way, 60 yards. Nobody touches him, and it's 16-0, Orlando. And then, still in the first quarter, Malcolm Frank with a pick. And down the sideline, 36 yards for the TD. And the Orlando Thunder would cruise into the World Bowl next week in Montreal with a 45-7 victory over the Birmingham Fire. And so the Orlando Thunder, the winner last night, will meet the winner of this game next week in World Bowl II. And joining us right now from Orlando, Florida, is Scott Mitchell. Scott, congratulations on your victory last night.
Thank you.
You know, earlier this year, your team was producing a lot of offense, but your coaching staff made a defensive switch. They went from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and after that, your offensive production might have gone down a little bit, but the defense really got more involved in the scheme of things, and it really evened out for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it definitely did. We got some leads in some games, and we kind of got conservative offensively and really didn't open up our offense like we knew we could, and we've kind of stagnated a little bit toward the end of the season, and we felt that we really need to pick it up in the playoff game and really open things up. And last night, everything just seemed to click for us.
Was that hard for you when you clinched so early and you had to kind of finish out the season? You didn't know who you'd be playing in the playoffs and such, to sort of keep your enthusiasm up for the rest of this year?
Well, you know, it's difficult when you know where you're going, and it's hard every week to get up and excited for the games, especially when you know you're going to be in the playoffs. We're all professionals, and we have to come to play every week. And for the most part, I thought our intensity stayed up for the rest of the year. We had a few minor problems. I don't think we concentrated like we did early in the year offensively, and we made more mistakes than we normally did. But overall, you know, we kept an even keel throughout the whole season.
Scott, you played Barcelona just a couple of weeks ago. You didn't play Sacramento this year. Which team would you rather see next week?
Well, right now, you know, we're excited about being in the World Bowl, and we don't really care who we play. Our goal at the beginning of the year was to get to the World Bowl and win it, and who's ever there is fine with me, and I'm sure with the rest of the team.
Well, Scott, good luck next week in the World Bowl. I know you'll have a couple weeks off before you have to report to the Miami Dolphins, so try to get some rest after next week. Thanks for being with us. We're at halftime here in Sacramento, California, with the score, the Surge 7 and the Dragons 3.
In a world of constant change, there is one certainty: the financial strength of the rock. The Prudential, rock solid.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I dress the way I do. That's why I stay in shape.
To compete against men half your age takes a certain kind of power.
That's why I play like an animal.
The power of Power Stick.
I give it everything I have every time I walk out there.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke.
This works best for me. I don't want people going around saying, whew, that Connors, he's tough to be around.
Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
Need a fresh start? Get the battery that's proven to start over 50,000 times. Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no air. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky.
Wow! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
Hey, she's a lot tougher than she looks.
For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
This year, the Lake Edna Players present the Wild West Review. Tonight, director Lauren Clark tried to motivate her cast of cowboys with new KFC honey barbecue chicken. Fried chicken glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey. The chicken was unbelievable, as were a few of the performances. Try the 2-piece honey barbecue roundup meal, just $2.99, or the 8-piece meal, just $9.99 for a limited time in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Saturday, it's a bowling battle, a shootout at Jack's Place, and a $1 million dash. First, the spring tour heads to Portland for the Oregon Open.
Then after bowling, join me, Jack Nicklaus, as the PGA's top players tee off in a very special event to me. Live, it's the Memorial Tournament. The telecast sponsored by Dean Witter.
And on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Preakness winner Pine Bluff goes after a $1 million bonus in the final jewel of the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge, the Belmont Stakes Live. It's all Saturday on ABC Sports.
Sacramento leading Barcelona 7-3 at halftime. Dick Vermeil joining me right now. And Dick, coming into the game, the fewest interceptions by a team in the World League. Sacramento with just 5. They get the pick, and it goes for a touchdown.
And they hadn't scored a defensive point, really. So that was a big play. And we'll see it right here. Man-to-man coverage, blitz. Lewis Reddick moving inside out. Pressure. Quarterback Ernie does not see it. Throws it right where Reddick would like him to throw it. As he said, remember, I just didn't see him. Here's another all-22 look. You'll see him now moving inside out on it. There he is right at the 15-yard line. Now the ball is thrown, and he attacks the football and takes it in for the 7 points. And they've only had the ball, Sacramento, 14 snaps offensively in the first half. And
Barcelona's had nearly twice as many snaps offensively, and they had that nice drive at the end of the first half, and Teddy Garcia gets the field goal. So we've got a football game here at halftime. 7-3, Sacramento leads Barcelona, and we'll be back after this.
The Prudential Halftime Report has been brought to you by The Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid. The Prudential.
In a world of sweeping changes, there is one certainty. The financial strength of the rock. The Prudential, rock solid.
Sports and Science Converge, brought to you by AT&T, sponsor of the '92 U.S. Olympic team. Football coaches rely on many resources to try to improve their teams. Since a coach's primary function is to teach, his success at that can often be seen in how well or how poorly his team executes. A fundamental element of coaching is the team meeting, where past performances are evaluated and future opponents scouted. A new device, the coach's pad, is enabling coaches to point out specifics of a play, helping players better visualize their assignments.
It's an extremely upgraded mode of handling meetings. And it's upgraded because you can describe things so much clearer. You can actually point out specifically where the division point is. So you're just trying to teach with the best thing that you can. And I think it's become an integral part of what we do.
The coach's pad is a telestrator that connects directly to a video player. The coach writes or draws on the keypad, and the images appear superimposed on the video. The coach can also teach new plays. The pad has brought coaching into the video age. Brought to you by AT&T, proud sponsor of the '92 U.S. Olympic team.
Alan, Ray, about this friends and family thing, gotta talk to you, man.
Alan? That person you gave our number to called about leaving AT&T for MCI and hassled us about this friends and family plan.
Alan, Doug, this friends
At
and family...
AT&T, your family and friends are your business. Keeping you connected to them is ours.
It's Gail. The sales guy called and you gave him my number. Thanks a lot.
It's just not worth it.
Now, first-time buyers can get up to $900 in additional savings on new Jeep Wranglers.
World League Football. Brought to you by Norelco patented lift and cut shavers. We make close comfortable. By Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody's cooking like today's KFC. And by Chrysler Corporation and its divisions. Proud sponsors of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team.
And we welcome you back. Sacramento 7, Barcelona 3. Let's go down to Julie Moran. Julie?
Well, Roger, the mood was very high in the Barcelona locker room. It was almost like a pep rally. Coach Bicknell did not say one word. He let the players talk, and essentially they said, nobody gave us a shot. We're down by 4. We can win this game. And they were out of there, and they think they have a shot. Over to you, Jimmy.
Well, Julie, the locker room was a little different over here in Sacramento. They were angry. They felt that they didn't play well, that they allowed Barcelona to dictate the game, and they want to come out, and Coach Stevenson said, let's stop them on defense, get it to the O, and shove it down their throats. It was a little bit more nasty over here. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Jim. John needs to kick it off. Back deep for the Barcelona Dragons is 82, Dempsey Norman. As we're set to go, second half. Norman loses it, gets it back. And with a burst across the 20, and then he's stuck right there. Man making the tackle was 42, Louis Riddick on the special teams.
Well, I'll tell you this, if I was Jack Bicknell and the Barcelona squad, I would really be excited right now. But I'll tell you the other thing, from the other side, Sacramento's, it's hard to turn it on emotionally when you were a little bit flat in that first half. Now, I'm not saying it's all mental in that first half, because Barcelona played well. But there's no valve on your jersey that turns on the emotion to get really intense. You become an intense football team by concentrating all week in preparation and really respecting your opponent.
Lionel Manuel was split out wide to the near side on 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Ernie got a man wide open. That's Demetrius Davis, his big tight end, and Davis up near the 35-yard line where Louis Riddick will make the stop. 13 yards on the reception for Demetrius Davis. What a big difference he makes to this football team. When we were in Barcelona, Jack Bicknell just told us, he says, you can't believe, he says, I hate to be so one-dimensional as to say this one guy influences so many things, but he really does.
You know, and he's not 100% healthy. His knee is bothering him, and it was questionable yesterday on the practice field how much he could play today.
34 receptions, 374 yards on the year coming into this game. And the blitz coming, 1st and 10. Ernie going underneath. His intended receiver was Tony Moss, who got a hand on it, but wasn't able to hold on. And the stats in the first half, folks, kind of hard to believe for the Sacramento Surge.
They really tell the story here. Total domination in total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, 0, first downs. Hey, it was all Barcelona.
And Dick, that time of possession in this 4-game losing streak for Barcelona, the opponents have had the ball for 11 more minutes per game as Ernie is dumped back there. Boy, really coming in strong on him was 55, Michael Jones, first-year player out of Missouri, and he has been a key man since coming back for an injury.
You know, Michael Jones was a college running back, a very good one. He had running games where he ran 165 yards in a ball game and those kind of things. And the Raiders wanted him converted to a linebacker, and he's doing real well, doing very well.
We saw those stats from the first half. Keep in mind, last week, the Surge defense, you see Jones led them last week against San Antonio. In that game, they held the San Antonio Riders to 50 yards in the second half after allowing 211 in the first half. On 3rd and 10, Dempsey Norman makes the catch. He's not going to get enough for the first down at the 42-yard line. And once again, a lot of pressure that time on Scott Ernie, who came up trying to move his arm around a little bit. Michael Jones and also Sinclair were in there.
Again, they came after with a blitz, and I think already in the first half you can see that Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, has decided, hey, we're going to come after them and pressure them and try to take the ball away, sack the quarterback, create the turnover.
4th down and 4. As the punt back there by English, and a beauty. And taken inside the 15 by Eddie Brown. Look at what he can do with the football. Look at Eddie Brown go. It's a foot race. English. Touchdown, Eddie Brown. 86 yards for Eddie Brown from Iowa State University.
Roger, you spoke earlier about his ability to run. That was demonstrated right there. But he got a lot of great blocks. He got an initial block, right? You'll see a block appear. You'll see it appear to the right side of your screen. Boom, he got a knockdown right there. Then running ability. See, defenders not coming to balance. Eric Lindstrom, number 50, didn't come to balance.
Tony Burse was the man that got the key block, and then English was the only man left, and he went right by him. And that's a World League playoff record.
So the World League has done a good job returning punts this year. They've returned one punt for a touchdown every 85 punt returns. That's a very good ratio.
Blanchard got the point after 14-3.
Searching for the perfect shave? Let Norelco show you what it's like from the inside. Here, there's a system for a close, comfortable shave that exists in no other razor. Our patented lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. So to look better on the surface, remember, Norelco shaves below the surface. Norelco, we make close, comfortable.
You know, you get into fitness, you're likely to get an athlete's foot. And it could get pretty tough. The irritating itch, the painful cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin. Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. And Tenactin's clinically proven. No wonder it's the antifungal most recommended by pharmacists.
Got a tough case of athlete's foot? Get the medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin.
Legend says dangling your feet in the lake at Dunlow keeps you feeling fresh and clean the rest of your days. There's a bit of this in every bar of Irish Spring. Ah, the lost and fresh scent of Irish Spring. The Irish never quit.
To me, when a woman sweats, it just isn't sexy.
Of course a guy's gonna sweat sometimes, but when you're close, who wants a guy that smells?
Get closer with Arid Extra Extra Dry, the anti-odor antiperspirant.
I trust Arid.
Indy 500 winner Al Unser Jr. helps turn Motown into Go-Town. It's the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix, live next Sunday on ABC Sports.
Eddie Brown, Highland Park High, Topeka, Kansas, Dodge City Community College, Iowa State, went up to Canada. Dickie's got, what, about half dozen NFL teams knocking on his door right now?
He told me he has 6 teams talking to him. Kansas City, Lynn Stiles had called him the night before, and they were visiting. He'll go where the opportunity's best.
Kickoff now. Dempsey Norman at the 5. Seam up the middle. Penalty marker down as Norman's brought down at the 36-yard line. 31 yards on the return by Dempsey Norman.
30 yards by 82, Dempsey Norman.
Derek Kelson was the man to come down and make the tackle. And the holding's going to go against Barcelona. Now, we mentioned Tony Burse with the key block.
You'll see him, number 28, right in the middle of your screen. Number 72, Ike Harris, gets it. And see, Eddie Brown did a nice job of making the first man miss, the third man miss. Now it's just innate running ability and speed. He makes people, you know, they just can't get to him. Then he gets a block downfield on the punter.
This guy had more touchdowns himself than the entire Barcelona Dragons team this year. And there's a look at Tony Burse, who David Archer, when he took his offensive lineman out to dinner the other night for a job well done blocking, this was the only what they call skill position player to go along, because Archer says, man, he's the last guy there to keep him off me.
He was basically a blocker in college, but last week in watching him run, he ran the draw play real well.
1st and 10 now for Scott Ernie. Penalty marker down and nearly picked off at the 30-yard line. Moss was the intended receiver, and Tracy Perkins was the man on the coverage.
Now what Barcelona cannot do is allow these negatives to affect them mentally. They're not out of this football game. They're 11 points away. Let's say that's only 2 big plays out of the ball game. But if they let these things happen...
Offense, number 71, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Here you have Brad Hinkey, number 71, at the top of your screen. You see him working on Sinclair. See him out there at the left-hand side of your screen, 71. He's got him locked up right there with his right arm, and they're going to call that.
Well, Sinclair, 10 sacks, was second in the World League. So Hinkey, who really is playing a different position in the pros than he did in college, has got his hands full with maybe one of the best defensive players in the World League in a down position. Now it's 1st and 20. Ernie going underneath and through the hands of his intended receiver, Demetrius Davis. Let's go to Jimmy V. Jim.
Thanks a lot, Roger. Eddie Brown, what are you so tired of? You huffing and puffing?
Oh, man, it's hot out here. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Yeah, Coach Stevenson said, let's stop them and let's shove it down their throats. Did you expect to do it quite so fast?
Oh, no, I didn't expect to do it quite so fast, especially on a punt return. I mean, I haven't returned one over 15 yards the whole year, and it just feels good to do it in a playoff game.
And this isn't even your best sport, is it?
Oh, no, it's not my best sport. I love basketball.
Back up to you guys.
Well, Or maybe he could have played for Johnny Orr up there at Iowa State. 2nd and 20. Ernie throws it to Dempsey. Nothing but green grass in front of him, and it's a foot race. Dempsey Norman, touchdown, 90 yards.
Dempsey Norman is the fastest man on the football team for Barcelona. He just demonstrated he has the speed. Now, that's what I was talking about, Roger. That's one of the 2 big plays they needed to get back in this football game. Blitz coverage, single man-to-man. Again, the secondary gambling and trying to tackle a guy aggressive, not coming up to balance, that spin move. They haven't made a tackle all day in that situation. You get burned when you don't come up, come to balance, get your tail down, your feet apart, and tackle a guy properly.
Dempsey Norman, 5'7", 175 from tiny St. Francis College. And the guy who got beat was Robert McWright, who, you remember, on the first play of the game was beat, but it was called back for the penalty.
In a different way. They're going for 2 right now, and this is what they should do.
14-9. Now, why should they go for 2? We'll talk about that when we come back. 11:25 to go, 3rd quarter. We'll get Coach Vermeil's analysis of the 2-point play right after this.
We were loading up at the lake, and I hooked my Coleman cooler on the trailer hitch to help drain the water. But I forgot to unhook it. We dragged that thing 20 miles, but it held on all the way, and everything was still inside.
Coleman coolers are unbelievably tough, and now this bonus pack is priced at around $20.
I don't know what the speed limit was along there, but I'm sure glad nobody clocked that cooler.
The Brooker boys are here on tour. What's been the highlight of your Lake Edna stop, Matt?
I'd say this new honey barbecued chicken, Russ. Fried chicken glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey. Get 2 pieces with baked beans, coleslaw, and a biscuit in a roundup meal for just $2.99.
Woo-wee! That was completely unsolicited.
Oh, what?
The 2-piece honey barbecue roundup meal, just $2.99. For the 8-piece meal, just $9.99 for a limited time in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
He's in Manhattan on Wednesday, Frankfurt on Thursday, Paris, Rome, and Vienna after that. He believes it's better to do business across a table than over a fax machine. This year, he'll fly more than 100,000 miles with us because he knows nobody understands him better than we do. At Delta, when we say we love to fly and it shows, this is where it shows.
Richard Pryor.
It hurts all over.
And Bob Saget. Take the medical profession by storm, together in Critical Condition, Monday.
11:25 to go, 3rd quarter, 14-9. Sacramento leads, and why is Barcelona going for the 2 now, Dick?
Well, if they made 1 point, they'd still be down by 4. If they make the 2, they'd be down by 3, and then that field goal ties it up. They're better off going for it. Plus, my computer printout says, hey, when you're down by 5, you go for 2.
Palmer's the lone setback. And in motion there is number 85, Thomas Woods. Ernie with a lot of time. Now he just throws it up for grabs, and no good. It was Robert McWright that intercepted that 2-point attempt in the end zone. So that 2 points try. No good for Barcelona, and they trail by 5.
It's no secret that foreign competitors have been giving American car makers a real beating. About 5 years ago, we decided enough is enough. This is where it stops. The first thing we did was take a good hard look at our own company. And if we found something that slowed things down or didn't add value or improved quality, we dumped it. Then we reorganized the whole place into 4 platform teams: large car, small car, truck, and minivan. We spent $1 billion on a new technology center. Now, this new way of doing business means we'll be putting our concepts in your garage while the competition is still sharpening their pencils. And if you want proof, we've got proof. The Dodge Viper, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and this fall, a whole new line of family sedans. At Chrysler, we believe that standing still is a great way to get run over. In this business, you lead, follow, or get out of the way.
This is not what you want in a shave. Now you've got the edge with 6 rich lubricants for less irritation. You
got the edge.
Dear Thompson's, when the store ran out of Thompson's water seal, we finished our deck with another brand. What a mistake. The Thompson side beat it up, the other side, nothing. Even the clerk agreed, nothing works at Thompson's. Sincerely, Becky Jones, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Preakness winner Pine Bluff goes after a $1 million bonus in the final jewel of the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. It's the Belmont Stakes, live Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
He wanted to go to the running back out of the backfield right here into the flat, expecting man-to-man coverage and get the pick, but they went zone coverage on him. See, no one running man for man there with the man in motion. Took away the pattern right there. He maybe gave up on it a little bit too soon, then goes in the scramble situation. Good pressure inside out by the defense. And this is what you have to do. Just throw it up in the end zone and hope.
Well, a couple big plays here, Dick, to start the second half. The return by Eddie Brown, and then the 90-yard touchdown pass. Yeah, the longest play for Dempsey Norman before that was 24 yards. As the kickoff goes down to Eddie Brown, and he is dropped there. Number 90 came up to make the hit for the Barcelona Dragons, and that was Matt Kelly, backup linebacker out of Boston College. Look at the passing yards so far in this game. You can't even believe it, folks. 192 to 12.
And Sacramento comes in averaging 281 yards a ball game. Number 2 passing team in the world, League.
Throw the computer out. Throw the statistics out. You know, I sometimes I think these coaches with these one-line cliches, it's a whole new season. You throw the regular season away, it's the playoffs.
Sometimes it's right.
Sometimes they might be right. 1st and 10, David Archer and the Sacramento Surge. Archer going underneath. The intended receiver was Mike Pringle, 23. I think somebody might have tipped that at the line of scrimmage. He was trying to throw through a lot of arms and a lot of bodies there. Look at Pringle, 5'8", 186 out of Cal State Fullerton. And David Archer, who, man, this guy came from a little town called Soda Springs, Idaho, walked on at Snow College in Utah, then was lightly recruited, Iowa State. Jim Kreiner took a shot on him, and man, he is just a battler and a struggler his whole career.
The guy that really took a shot on him was Dan Henning at Atlanta, who really gave him the opportunity to be a quarterback in the National Football League, and he did a good job with his opportunity.
2nd down and 10, and a penalty marker goes down. Penalty marker goes down, and let's go to Jim Galvano. Jim?
I'll tell you, fellas, Coach Stevenson's low-key, but he wasn't low-key before this possession. He really challenged his offense to finally, let's control the ball. Let's utilize some clock. I've seen coaches and they're concerned. This coach is concerned right now.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Dave Stevens, former head coach at the Buffalo, coach for Chuck Knox for a long time.
54 offense. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
McKay was a quarterback himself at the University of Florida, and then in the NFL and AFL.
San Diego Chargers. He was a roommate of Dan Henning, and I was just talking about. Now Dan Henning is the offensive coach at the Detroit Lions. Dan had a lot of nice things to say about David Archer.
3rd down and 6 yards to go for David Archer, who 6 times this year threw for over 300 yards in a game. Intercepted. Picked off back there by Jerry Woods, number 35. Off the deflection, and he's inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. So Jerry Woods makes the interception, and this is the team, the Barcelona Dragons. And, of course, Adrian Jones, who leads the World League in interceptions. But this man, Jerry Woods, with just his first interception of the year.
You're going to see that they're going to run crossing patterns here, layered one deeper than the other, and the ball is thrown over the top. See, now watch him cross. There he goes, just 1 minute. There they go, over and under, and the ball is thrown high, and the free safety's sitting back there. Woods is just sitting there, and he takes it. Hey.
Went through the hands of Stephon Adams, who should have caught the football. So now, trailing by 5, 10:41 to go, 3rd quarter. Barcelona Dragons have got something working with Demetrius Davis inside the 25 to the 24-yard line.
You know, the best drive Barcelona's had all day is when they included the running game in it. Don't ever forget what went well for you in the first half.
There's a look at David Archer. He had thrown 72 consecutive passes without an interception. And, you know, you can't count it any other way because it was an interception, but the ball should have been caught. Went right through the receiver's hands.
Still goes against the quarterback.
2nd down and 7. And Sacramento defense has been on the field a lot today. Running back Joe Mickles, 34, inside the 20 to the 19-yard line, where Michael Jones, who's been all over the field today, makes the tackle.
Michael Jones, as you said, has been all over the field, moving right here, inside out nicely, making sure he doesn't overrun the running back and allowing the cutback. Now watch him now. See him sit there, staying one shoulder behind, ricochet off, boom. Nice play by Michael Jones.
So the Barcelona defense has stifled the Sacramento offense, and the Sacramento offense, in all honesty, has stifled itself today on 3rd and 3. Quick out, reception over there by Lionel Manuel, who makes his first catch of the day. Robert McWright on the tackle. That's enough for the first down by Manuel, who played his college football right down the road in Stockton at the University of Pacific.
You know, the receiver coach for Barcelona must teach spin moves after the reception, because every receiver he has that catches the short one uses some kind of a double spin move to try to avoid the tackle. And by gosh, it's worked.
1st and 10, ball at the 12-yard line. Nichols has it. He's inside the 10, down to the 9.
I like Nichols. He gets those knees up. He's a determined runner. He's tough. He's impressive.
Bill Goldberg, 73, made the tackle. Wouldn't it be something you think back, Julie's report at the beginning of the game about this odyssey the Barcelona Dragons have had, and if it would go for one more week, all the way to Montreal, and then they'd probably have to go back to Barcelona if they'd win there for the big victory parade. Just thinking ahead, but 2nd down and 8. Ernie going to the corner. 85, Thomas Woods was there. They're saying no, he was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds. He was up in the air. You know, the Sacramento defense has done the best job in the World League of, once their offense has turned it over, which they did 15 times, of preventing any kind of a score. They've only given up 20 points following a turnover. Good defense. They sort of get a lift. See, he didn't get either feet in at that time.
That'll bring up a 3rd down situation for the Barcelona Dragons. 3rd and 8 at the 10-yard line.
But, you know, some defenses sort of sink when the offensive team turns it over. Obviously, Haslett and the defensive coaches have done a good job of disciplining their defense to raise it up a notch.
They've been going at McWright, but this time Ernie's looking to the right side. He's going to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown over there to number 88, Demetrius Davis, his tight end. And for Demetrius Davis, his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. I was just going to say they'd been picking on McWright over on the left side. That time, Ernie went right and it was open.
What Demetrius Davis did was a good job. And when the quarterback, Ernie, came out on a scramble, he broke to the right. Now Demetrius Davis reversed his direction in the end zone and sprinted with the quarterback, just as he should do. Good job on his part.
79, Vance Hammond had a shot back there at Ernie. Couldn't get it, so now Barcelona has taken the 15-14 lead, and they go for 2.
Go for 2 again.
Okay.
Yep.
7:46 to go, 3rd quarter. They'll just give it to Nichols up the middle. I don't see a signal. Vance Hammond was the man that made the tackle. Well, they haven't signaled good or bad, but I'm just going to assume now they signal. So Vance Hammond made the stop. Barcelona with a 1-point lead and 7:46 to go, 3rd quarter.
Join us for the Memorial Tournament telecast, sponsored by Dean Witter, Saturday on ABC Sports.
Now, first-time buyers can get up to $900 in additional savings on new Jeep Wranglers.
I'd like to make a simple point about a gasoline additive called ProGuard. You see, without proper care, even new car engines accumulate deposits that can lead to a rough-running engine. Fortunately, there's a ProGuard. Added to a single tank full of gasoline, ProGuard's patented Techron chemistry begins cleaning deposits not only from fuel injectors, but throughout your engine's intake system, for a noticeably smoother performance. ProGuard, for a smoother running engine.
In a world of constant change, there is one certainty.
the financial strength of the rock. The Prudential, rock solid.
Well, so far in this third quarter, Barcelona 135 yards on offense, Sacramento just 4, and you combine that with their first half total, they've now got 260 yards on offense.
You know, Sacramento's very lucky the way they have been playing. The only 1 point out of this football game.
Well, I mean,
you stop and look at their offensive production, no production in the first half, 4 yards a second half. They're very fortunate they're playing a Barcelona-type team that's really a one-dimensional defensive football team.
And you look in stats in the World League, and Barcelona's nearly last in every offensive category.
They are, almost.
And they've lost 4 defensive starters in the last 3 weeks, as Junior Robinson is back there, and he brings it outside the 20-yard line. Let's go down to Julie. Julie.
All right, Scott, Coach Bicknell talked about the defensive corners being suspect. You guys have really taken it there all afternoon.
Yeah, you know, we're just taking what they're giving us right now. Their linebackers early were trying to blitz us. When we took the ball outside, their corners were playing man. We hit a big play, took them out of the blitz a little bit, and, you know, hopefully we can mix it up and take it inside, take it outside, work on their corners and their linebackers.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott.
Okay, Julie, thank you. 1st and 10 now at the 22-yard line. Sacramento has just not been able to put anything together, and they're going to throw on first down again. As he comes over to the near side, Tony Burst. He's got the first down as he gets up near the 40-yard line. Tony Burst with nearly as many pass receptions as runs this year. And 17 yards on that pickup, and Adrian Jones made the stop.
He's a tough kid. Now, he's the young man that got the great block on the punt return for the touchdown. He's a captain of their special teams. He likes to play. He was mostly a blocker in college. He loves to run. Visited with him in the locker room the other day. Says what he likes to really run is the draw play.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee State University, 6 feet, 216 pounds. Just over 7 minutes to go, third quarter. Archer, oh, he wasn't looking.
Oh,
he wasn't looking that time. Tony Burst, and I got to tell you what, that ball was up for grabs, and the man, I think it was Jerry Woods possibly, who was over there, who maybe didn't see the football either and decided to knock Burst down.
You'll see Jerry Woods right here will move inside out on the play and do just what you were talking about, Roger. See, he's in a zone coverage, playing zone, 3 deep, just leveling off out in the flat. He throws it late. Now he works inside out, and boom, the ball was not catchable. It was too far to the outside.
Well, Jerry Woods, of course, came up with the interception earlier. 11 tackles last week in the game against Orlando out of Northern Michigan. Division II school. Archer got his receiver right there. That's Paul Green, his tight end. Green, who at Southern Cal, more receptions than any other tight end, I think, than Jerry.
He played both in the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine game. They believe, Kay Stevenson told me, they think he's the best athlete on the football team and can definitely play in the National Football League.
I was going to mention Charlie Young is the only tight end at Southern Cal with more receptions than Jerry Green. As you take a look at that quarterback comparison right there.
Well, there is no comparison.
Yeah. 3rd down and 3. In motion is Carl Parker. Tipped once again. The intended receiver was a tight end, 83, Paul Green, and it looked like Ron Getz is the man who tipped it. Dick, why haven't they been able to get to the wide receivers, Eddie Brown today, and also Carl Parker?
Well, because they're playing zone. Now watch these linebackers drap out of there and just loosen, playing zone, reading it. See, they got a lot of people right there. The only way you can throw into those zones is put somebody in front of the linebackers, then layer it and work in behind it.
John Nees, his 5th punt. He's back at the 31. And Thomas Woods at the 12. End-over-end kick. And tackled there. Good job done by 82 Stock of the Sacramento Surge. Backup wide receiver Mark Stock was down there in a hurry. 47 yards on that punt. And Saturday at a special time, 1 Eastern, 12 noon Central, and 3 Pacific, ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour heads to Portland for the Oregon Open. And at 2:30 Eastern, ABC Sports will begin live weekend coverage of the Memorial Tournament, sponsored by Dean Witter. It's all coming up Saturday on ABC Sports. So once again, Dick, a failed offensive possession by the Sacramento Surge.
I tell you, the only way Sacramento's going to move the ball is get the ball in the hands of the people that have been successful before. You've got the #1 receiver in terms of yardage in Eddie Brown. They've got to get the ball in his hands. Short, long, anyway, get the ball in his hands.
5:46 to go, third quarter. Scott Ernie with a lot of confidence right now has a man downfield. Lionel Manuel had his man beat. And isn't it interesting? First down, they go up on top. They must have watched those tapes of that game against San Antonio last week.
No question. They probably watched them way into the wee hours of the morning each evening. But what they're probably doing in going deep on first down is a more predictable coverage. And they know when they can get that receiver on the corner on the first down situation.
Barcelona's averaging nearly 9.7 yards on second down. Second down and 10, so 9.7 yards on every second down possession. And this is Mickles. Doesn't get the 9.7 there as he gets to the 19-yard line. Louis Riddick made the stop. 15-14 the score, and coming into the game, the Dragons were last in the World League. First downs, average yards per game, rushing yards per game, sacks allowed, touchdowns, and points.
But remember, they were injured when they got into that losing streak. They didn't have the people like Demetrius Davis and Terry O'Shea and these people that are making plays for him right now were not involved.
And Scott Ernie was injured too, if you'll remember.
Yes,
Tony Rice had to come in and play quarterback. Third down and 5. Open receiver there is number 87, Tony Moss, and the passing attack for the Barcelona Dragons has been impressive. Junior Robinson makes the stop.
This is just a simple out pattern. Come back, you'll see it here in isolation on the top of your screen. One-on-one route. See, they're playing loose zone coverage, not playing them real tight. Now, I think also Sacramento's defense has been on the field so long that the pass rush is starting to diminish. Those guys are starting to suck just a little bit tired.
Moss, 4 receptions, 26 yards. You saw the difference in first downs right there. First and 10 as they give it to Mickles. Tackle missed behind the line of scrimmage. Goldberg had him, lost him, and Mickles is able to gain a couple.
Goldberg is very, very active. You know, he was a free agent with the Rams last year in '91. Originally a number 11 pick with the Rams in 1990, but he 348 tackles in college. So you know he can find the football. You know, every player under a defensive contract on the Sacramento Surge football team has their degree from college. How do you like that, buddy? And 3 of them graduated with honors.
That's really breaking it down.
That is. Well, they do a lot of evaluating. They also include mentality. 2nd and 7.
Once again, Demetrius Davis going to be short of the first down. Junior Robinson, Derek Kelson, both over there. And now they're picking short. Going underneath, getting those 5-6 yards.
Very intelligent. I look for them to come with some kind of a screen. No, they're not a big screen team. But some kind of a screen now. They've got him playing a little bit more zone defense. A screen is not as good against a man-to-man. But they have him in a more of a zone mode right now because they've been beaten deep.
You got to feel that Jack Bicknell looked at this situation. He says, guys, look, our defense has been our key all year. If we can give them some time off the field, as I pointed out earlier, oppositions had the ball 11 more minutes per game, and that has happened so far. This Barcelona offense has come up big, and Tony Woods has got just enough for the first down. Tony Moss over there, number 87.
They were blitzing that time in that short yardage situation, try to get to the quarterback, but what they didn't do is they didn't crowd the receiver. If you're going to blitz on a 3rd and 2 to 3 situation, you better crowd that receiver regardless of bump rule or no bump rule.
Well, you think that Sacramento would be used to this heat. They've set record temperatures. Matter of fact, the month of May in the Sacramento area will be the highest average temperature in its history. You figure the Surge would be used to the conditions and playing strong, but it looks like the Barcelona team is the fresh team right now as we come down to the 2-minute mark in the 3rd quarter on 1st and 10. And maybe a yard on the pickup right there. Terry O'Shea's looking at the official and said, that guy pushed me down.
George
pushed me down.
Yeah, he actually did. George Bethune just kept right on coming. The whistle was blown, and he just dumped him over the top of the pile. Hey, George, you're a tough guy.
There's Bethune, 93. You know, the Sacramento Surge made good use of the NFL enhancement program this year, Dick, whereas Barcelona really has no enhancement players. Sacramento's got 7.
They did a real good job. Plus, Lanny Julius, their personnel director, has done an excellent job of evaluating talent. He knows the pulse rate of these guys. He knows what time they eat peanuts in the evening. I mean, he knows everything about these kids.
See Bethune with 7 sacks on the year, also 58 tackles. Penalty marker goes down. They'll swing it to Mickles on a 2nd and 9. And Mickles dropped the football. So Joe Mickles, came into the game with just 12 receptions on the years. Really don't throw to their backs very much, the Barcelona Dragons. Palmer had just 7 receptions coming into the game. Mickles just 12.
You know, when you're in a one-back attack most of the time, the one-back really doesn't catch the ball much. The second back, which is really your H-back, is the guy that ends up catching the football.
'88 offense, penalties decline, third down.
Penalty on Demetrius Davis. They've declined that penalty, and that'll bring up a third down situation for the Barcelona Dragons. You know, the Sacramento Surge had the best third down conversion in the World League this year at some 46%, and the Dragons one of the worst at around,
they were 8.
Around 34, 35.
But see, statistics don't make any difference on the one day that you play. All they are is indicators of what you've been doing prior to the day you play.
Third down and 9. Ernie with some pressure is able to get it away, and the pass intended right there for Dempsey Norman, and it was Robert McWright.
Excellent play. Excellent pass defense all the way.
I don't know, Dick, if Dempsey Norman, that ball went through his hands and hit him in the chest.
No, I think that Robert McWright will be to the right side of your screen, got his left hand around in front of him. See, it was a deep comeback. They've used the out pattern too many times in the same situation. He played all the way. He got his left hand around there. Nice job by Robert McWright.
English back at the 20 to punt it. With 38 seconds to go, third quarter. That was Carl Parker that came in, nearly got a piece of it. Eddie Brown with some room to work. He's got a seam up the middle. Eddie Brown to the 40-yard line.
You know, Roger, just enhancing on what I was talking about in that third down coverage, anticipating the out. Barcelona would really be bright in the next third down situation to go deep on that third down call.
Let's go down to Jim Valvano. Jimmy?
I'll tell you something, fellas. The confidence which Sacramento started this game with has turned to some frustration. In fact, the offensive line was yelling, how come we can't get a pass completion? We're protected. Nobody's getting through. So as you mentioned, Dick Vermeil, this Barcelona defense has really frustrated the Surge's offense.
First and 10 at the 40-yard line for David Archer, a Sacramento Surge. That's Doug DeBose, who's checked into the game, and DeBose gets maybe a yard. Let's go down to Julie.
Well, I'll tell you what, confidence is breeding confidence on the Barcelona sideline. Nobody is sitting down. Everybody is standing. Scott Ernie is leading a pep rally over here. We want it more than they want it. He says, we've been there, we know. Let's go out and get it. They are very confident over here.
Okay, thanks, Julie. That's a fact. They were at the World Bowl last year. They beat Birmingham 10-3 at Legion Field last year to move on to the World Bowl. It seems like Barcelona's always got to do it on the road, and this would just be one more step as we've got 15 minutes to go here in Sacramento. We've completed 3 quarters, and the Barcelona Dragons lead the Sacramento Surge 15-14.
Sunday, it's a real baby boom. Plus America's silliest summer sports preview on America's funniest home videos Sunday.
When Timber Chevrolet first opened its doors 18 years ago, I knew what we wanted to do, and that was to provide the best transportation, the best service, and at the best price to our community. We've been working hard to do just that. See for yourself. Come to Timber Chevrolet for your new Chevrolet. We have the selection, the people that can help you, and service after the sale. Now as then, I want to be your car dealer. That's Timber Chevrolet, near you at 225 at Ritchie in Pasadena.
Channel 13 is proud to announce that the Associated Press has honored 13 Eyewitness News with a number of awards. Bob Allen received the award for Best Sportscast, the 3rd time he's received this prestigious award. 13 Eyewitness News won the Best General Assignment Award for a report on Houston's poor. 13 undercover reporter Wayne Dolcefino received an award for his report on computer practices in the HISD system. And Live at 5's Alan Hamburger was honored for a report on television programs for children. 13 Eyewitness News, where caring makes the difference. Sunday night at 10:30, her fantasies were her most valued possession until he broke into her life and stole them.
The odds against a crook being sensitive enough to get into your diaries is about 1,000,000 to 1.
Her private thoughts, his secret obsessions. He knows all about her now, and he won't stop until he becomes part of her life.
It's got to stop. No! Please stop!
Stephen Bauer is the Thief of Hearts. Sunday night at 10:30, here on 13. Sam Elliott stars Monday at 3 here on 13.
Final 15 here at Hornet Field in Sacramento. Dragons lead the Surge 15-14 along with Dick Vermeil, Jim Valvano, Julie Moran. I'm Roger Twybo as the Sacramento Surge faced with a 2nd and 10 from their 40-yard line. David Archer has not been able to get anything going offensively today against this tough Barcelona defense. And once again, he's got 2 men on top of him in there. 75, Bruce Clark. 61, Steve Alford, the defensive ends in that 3-4 scheme.
Well, they put them both on the same side that time and brought them up and moved the linebackers over to the other side. Steve Alford has been dominating in there all through the ball game. CO Bruce Clark, his 12th year of pro football, and he's still battling. And this may be his last year.
Sacramento is 0 for 6 on 3rd down situations, and they're faced with a 3rd and 10 here.
Blitz.
Archer underthrows that time. David Archer underthrew his intended receiver, Stephon Adams, down at the 45-yard line.
This Barcelona blitz package has really fouled them up.
Well, what's different about it, Dick?
Well, they just don't do it, so they really wasn't in their thinking in preparation to playing them, but they've got to get adjusted to it. You can really see it coming because the alignment is so drastically different. The quarterback has to see it's blitz.
85 back there for Barcelona to receive is Thomas Woods inside the 20 as Nice. It's a high punt. Fair catch is being waved for, and that'll bounce out of bounds at the 24-yard line. 36 yards on the punt as Nice will come off. I'll tell you, this is as busy as he's been all year.
I know it. You know, to be honest with you, I really kept looking for Sacramento to come on, but you look at the difference, 288 to 40. Look at time and possession, 29 minutes to 15. Total domination. Mentally not ready to play on Sacramento's part.
And the other thing is their 2 touchdowns have been scored on an interception return and a punt return. And coming into this game, all of their points this year had been produced by the offense. Their special teams, their defense had really come up with little or nothing.
Well, you have to give Red Kellen, the defensive coordinator, and Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive line coach, and Von Williams, the defensive back coach, some real credit for coming up with this game plan.
1-point ball game as the handoff goes inside to Paul Palmer. Now, as we've started the 4th quarter, I always felt, Dick, that on a hot day like this, the game now, when you reach this point and it's close, it's going to be won by those 280, 300-pounders up front.
Up front, especially. And that's a good point, Raj, because Sacramento's been on defense the whole ball game, and those guys have got to be sucking just a little bit, and the worst thing they do is defense the run.
2nd down and 5 as Palmer was able to get a good chunk there on 1st down. And we've got a timeout down on the field. Timeout by Sacramento. They trail it by 1.
The business climate is so competitive today. Either you give your customer the best possible service or somebody else will.
We could take you on a vacation you will never forget, but you've got to get through to us first.
AT&T 800 service connects more calls on the first try, and it connects them faster, so more of your customers actually get through.
To us, a single 800 call could be worth thousands of dollars. And if the call doesn't get through, the opportunity is lost.
With the AT&T 800 assurance policy, if something happens and the customers can't get through, we'll reroute those calls to any working phone in 30 minutes. Guaranteed.
We chose AT&T because our 800 service is our front door, and we want it open to anyone, anywhere who's thinking about a vacation.
When you consider that every call is a customer, why would you want anything less than the most reliable 800 service?
If you want to win in the 21st century, you have to play the service game and play it really well.
We can make a difference. AT&T. Call us.
Hey, use a spark plug that's tested to fire clean for 30,000 miles. Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts. From Ford.
To change the image of a Rebel, change lenses. You've got the Rebel camera. Now get the EOS lenses.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and lenses from Canon, so advanced it's simple.
Bowling's best roll to Portland, hoping to make the pins go timber. It's the Oregon Open on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour, Saturday.
You take a look at the, is that Jim Kreiner there? Or Kay Stevenson, one of the one of the coaches there for Sacramento.
That's Jim Kreiner,
yeah, it is Jim
to the
Kreiner.
left, offensive line coach, and runs the offense along with Kay Stevens.
Hoping his offense can get back on the field. Second down's been the big down for Barcelona.
Blitz.
As they've averaged over 8 yards. Yeah, they get him that time. Ernie is down right there by Bill Goldberg, who comes moving in, his second sack today for the second-year player out of the University of Georgia.
See what they did? They loaded up. They put both linebackers up inside. The center can't help anybody that time. Goldberg jumps around and ends up getting the sack. Again, we've talked about old Mr. Goldberg quite a few times today.
From Tulsa, Oklahoma.
His dad's a doctor there,
yep.
isn't he? Oh, did you see your spotter get out when you mentioned
no, the Big E.
The Big E, the stats.
Third down and 11 for Scott Ernie. And the Dragons pressure, he gets out of it. Ernie, not quite enough for the first down as he crosses the 30 to the 32-yard line, and Michael Jones brings him down. Once again, a lot of pressure that time on Scott Ernie, who, hey, he's very effective, Dick, running the football. Over 160 yards this year.
Sinclair gets around Henke, number 71, and forces him up inside. See, Henke did quick work in his feet. Maybe he's the guy getting tired that allowed him to flush him and get him up inside.
Keith English will come on to punt it inside his 20.
Here's the best offensive play, the punt return.
Oh, goodness. Nearly off-sides there, but able to get back. Yeah, it's a beautiful punt. Goes down to Eddie Brown inside the 10. The only wall there is the Barcelona wall, as Brown is run out.
Good lesson.
At the 17-yard. We'll be right back.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your Bud Light shining for everyone to see. Cuts clean through your thirst, never leaves you flat. Outshining all the others that were Bud Light. Yeah.
If you're into looking good, get into Bud Light. Clean, fresh taste won't fill you up, never let you down.
Yeah, you can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. Everything else is just a lie. Keep your Bud Light shining. Everything else is just a lie.
To me, when a woman sweats, it just isn't sexy.
Of course a guy's gonna sweat sometimes, but when you're close, who wants a guy that smells?
Get closer with Arid Extra Extra Dry, the anti-odor antiperspirant.
I trust Arid.
In Killarney, legend says take a deep breath after it rains and that fresh, clean feeling will last the rest of your journey. There's a bit of this in every bar of Irish Spring. Ah, the lust and fresh scent of Irish Spring. The Irish never quit.
The genuine article is now on sale. The minivans that have outsold all others combined. Chrysler's first national minivan sale. Dodge Caravan, Plymouth Voyager, and Chrysler Town & Country now offer a $500 rebate, plus up to an additional $1,600 cash back on popular family options, like quad seating, anti-lock brakes, and built-in child seats. And right now, the genuine article Chrysler minivans are on sale. In the minivan business, you lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Spend the weekend with the PGA Tour's top players in my old hometown. The Memorial Tournament Telecast, sponsored by Dean Witter. Live coverage begins Saturday on ABC Sports.
Well, Eddie Brown league records in yards, touchdowns 12, averages 21 yards reception. He had the punt return for the TD, but as far as receiving the ball, he hasn't caught one. The other wide receiver, Carl Parker, has not caught one today. Dick, they haven't changed, but what do they got to do on offense to be effective now?
Well, when they go to that double zone, the receivers got to burst up underneath and run into those zone areas, and they also got to get to them with the delays underneath.
First and 10. They're going to try the end around. And Eddie Brown knocked out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Greg Gilbert was the man putting the pressure. Let's go to Jim.
Hey, fellas, you can take the kid out of coaching, but you can't take coaching out of the kid. When I've been in a situation like this in a game where I feel I should be winning, but it's not going well, I think you have to do two things. Number one, put the ball in the hands of your best players. Get the ball to your best players. And number two, if you have any specialty plays you've worked on, now's the time to bring them out. Back up to you guys.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And that was a good point because they just gave it to Eddie Brown.
And they just gave it on a specialty play, but, in a reverse.
Exactly. 2nd and 14, 4-yard loss on that play.
It's his blitz right here. Now they're backing out of it. Now they're backing out.
Doug Dubose is in the slot to the far side as Archer is going to go downfield, and there was some confusion there. Carl Parker, the wide receiver, good coverage that time by Adrian Jones, number 23. And Jones told me yesterday, Hey, I was voted the best defensive player in the league. Archer was the best offense. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I hope they come at me.
He's intercepted more passes in the World League over the last 2 years than any other defensive back, with 12 career pass interceptions.
Those 9 interceptions were more than Sacramento and Montreal.
Right. Well, Sacramento only had 5 coming in.
Montreal had 6.
They had dropped 18 of them.
Exactly. That was the key point. They've dropped 18 catchable balls by defense. Now, 3rd and 14. Sacramento 0 for 7 on 3rd down conversions as they go to Doug DeBose. I'll tell you, this Barcelona defense has just come up strong as DeBose has dropped at the 15-yard line. And once again, John Neese, who's had the busiest day of the year, will come in.
There's Red Kellen, the defensive coordinator, has done a real good job. Swarming defense. The ball's in the air. Now watch the green jerseys. They attack. There's Lindstrom. There's Woods. There's Quas, 55. Here comes Lindstrom for a second hit. They are flying to the ball.
7th punt of the day for Neese. He's back in his own goal line. End-over-end kick going down. Woods loses it, but he got it back. "41 yards on the punt. Tough end-over-end ball to catch. But Woods is able to come up with his own fumble.
Iron Mike on rust.
I hate rust.
Iron Mike on tough.
This is tough. Rust tough. This is rust. Oleum? The dictionary defines tough as strong, not easily influenced. Like me. The definition of oleum is, we sprayed this rusty metal plate with fast-drying rust tough, exposed the rusted metal, then placed it in the torture salt fog chamber. The rust didn't spread, it stayed tough. You want tough, or do you want oleum? Got rust, get tough. Rust tough.
Open road, mountain high, morning mist, golden sky. Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be. City streets, desert sun, rolling hills, forest rock. Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be. Yeah!
No matter where you want to be, you can get there on a Kawasaki.
Kawasaki, let the good times roll.
Rebel can do it. EOS Rebel from Canon. For power over time, space, and light to create images, not just snapshots.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and Rebel S from Canon, so advanced it's simple.
Well, next Sunday, the Scream Machines of IndyCar racing hit the road. Indy 500 winner Al Unser Jr., defending champ Emerson Fittipaldi, and other top drivers take on the tough city streets in the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix. That's live next Sunday on ABC Sports. 1st and 10 for Barcelona. 10:44 left to go in this World League playoff game from Sacramento, California.
They're coming after him. See the safety up there in the line of scrimmage?
They give it to Paul Palmer, and he is stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a yard. In there was Mike Sinclair, 75, 6'3", and 270 out of Eastern New Mexico University, and Basil Proctor.
You know, if I were Dick Curl, the offensive coordinator right now for Barcelona, I think I'd put Joe Mickles in there. He's bigger. He's 225 pounds, and he can pound in there a little more substantial, and he may be a little bit less apt to turn the ball over than the smaller back.
2nd down and 8.
There's Dick Curl, as you see him right there. He's done a nice job getting his team ready to play this week.
Ernie going to go to the outside. He can get to the sticks, and he gets more than that. It's Scott Ernie. And a penalty marker comes down. There was a late hit. Ernie had ran out of bounds, and he was hit over on the far side by one of the Sacramento defenders. It appeared to be Robert McWright, 21, was one of the players there, and also 58, Randy Thornton, who's been tied up with everybody so far today. It seems like he was in a couple of hassles in the first half.
Foul. Number 21, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I don't think that's a good call. I didn't see any real personal foul there. The quarterback had to get knocked out of bounds, and sometimes I don't really see any malicious intent in that call at all.
Let's go down to Julie Moran. Julie?
All right, I'm with the Defensive Player of the Year, Adrian Jones, and you're looking across the line at the Offensive Player of the Year, David Archer, and you guys have pretty much shut him down. What's been the secret today?
Well, we've been playing hard all year. We came in anticipating him throwing the long ball and make big plays on us. You can't give up right now because Archer can hit you late, deep in the game. We're going to keep playing hard. Anything can happen.
All right, thanks a lot, Adrian.
Well, the ball's been moved down to the 26-yard line after that penalty. 1st and 10 for Barcelona. As they'll give it to number 26, Paul Palmer, man out of Temple. Remember him, number 1 pick by the Kansas City Chiefs, has battled some injury problems.
If I were going to run the ball, I'd put 2 tight ends and balance the line of scrimmage. See, you can only run in one direction in a one-back attack if you don't run the counter back, the old gap play, toward that tight end side. Right now, the linebackers are just flying into that hole. They're free to go.
There's Palmer, 26. Heisman runner-up in 86 to Vinny Testaverde. Led the nation in rushing with over 1,800 yards. And Scott Ernie had a few words with his running back there as Mickles will come in and Palmer will leave the game. As we have moved under the 9-minute mark here in Sacramento, 15-14. Barcelona leads it by 1, and it has been a day when who would have thought that one of the top offenses in the World League would be totally stifled, and the worst offense in the World League would be dominating this game.
You know, Jack Bicknell came into this ball game with some confidence, so in talking with him yesterday.
2nd and 10, and the intended receiver was Demetrius Davis, and coming over in front was Kelson, Derek Kelson, 2nd-year pro out of Purdue.
He's their nickel back, and he had good coverage all the way. Plus, see, Ernie's looking at it all the way. He's looking at it all the way. That just gets the defensive back moving in that direction all the way. Plus, the ball was tipped. The ball was tipped in flight. You'll see it right to the right of the screen. See it right there? It just knocked it off just a little bit. But he really didn't even see the ball. I was going to give him too much credit.
If he'd have saw it, he might have caught it.
Yeah.
But defenders for Sacramento have dropped 18 potential interceptions this year. 3rd down and 10. Ernie will come near side, and good play right there. The man back there was Junior Robinson.
It's not a good call. The last 4 3rd and 10 situations, they've thrown the out, completed it once. Remember last time they blocked it? Hey, do something different. You got to have more. You're asking for a ball to be thrown you're asking for it to be picked off. See, he jumped out all the way.
Lionel Manuel was the intended receiver. That's a dangerous pass because if he would pick it, there's nobody down in front of him.
Well, just 4 times in a row is too many times.
43-yard attempt by Teddy Garcia. And keep in mind where he is kicking there, that is bare. That's where they painted the field all year. The footing is not very good. That's got the distance, but it's no good. So Teddy Garcia has now missed 2 of 3 field goal attempts on the day. And Teddy Garcia on the year.
He was 2 for 9 from that distance right now, Raj, and he came in 12 for 23. That is not good enough.
So 13 of 26, and that's right at 50%. You want your field goal kicker to be a little better than that.
Well, the NFL average kicker is 72% on the year. The World League is 61%. See, you've got to be better than 12 of 23 in these tight ball games. Teddy not having a good year.
1st and 10 now. 7:43 left to go, and can David Archer get this team down the field one time today? They go underneath. He's got his man right there. Tony Burst fumble at the 35-yard line. It appeared as though Sacramento was able to come up with it.
See, good approach, though. They go to the check down. Those linebackers are going to drop out of there. Now you'll see the running back to the right is your screen. Tony Burst steps up inside. See, now he just turns around and he just checks it down to him right there in front of the linebacker. But Brad Quast is there.
Eric Lindstrom was a man that knocked it loose, and Carl Parker came in to recover the fumble.
Eric Lindstrom is the most underrated defensive player on their team, in my opinion.
2nd down and 1. They'll give it right up the middle. Mike Pringle's got the 1st down and more. Across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Jerry Woods makes the tackle. Let's talk for just a moment about this Barcelona defense. You know, Dick, they got dismantled by New York, New Jersey, 47-0. But other than that game, Jack Bicknell's defense has held the opposition to just 12.3 points in their other 9 regular season games.
A good point. They'd only given up more than 2 touchdowns in that one game against New York. When you can play defense, you're normally always in the football game. Trouble is, many times you lose those 1 and 2 pointers.
23,640 here at Hornet Field this afternoon in Sacramento on 1st and 10 for David Archer, and that pass open in the middle again. That time it's Mike Pringle across midfield as he gets down near the first down, where Greg Gilbert and Ron Getz, and David Archer has thrown a touchdown pass in every game. By the way, Carl Parker has made at least a reception in every game for the Sacramento Surge. He hasn't had one today. Eddie Brown hasn't had a reception today. But why are they finding the back open in the middle right there, Dick?
They've been there all day. Yeah. They go to the zone if it's not there in man, but when they see the man or blitz, they have to react to it. But just drop the ball off and take what they give you.
That was the first down. 1st and 10 at the 47 of Barcelona. 5:38 left to go in this football game as they'll swing it out to Burst. Burst inside the 40, near another first down. Jerry Woods will come up to make the tackle.
You know, this game is not as complicated as we coaches sometimes try to make it. Take what they give you. Go to the easy stuff. If you can't get the ball to wide receivers because they're dropping underneath them, hey, there's only 11 guys out there.
Well, the closest Sacramento's come to pay dirt on offense, they got to the Barcelona 38 with 2:40 before the half. Now the ball marked at the 37-yard line, so they are now closer. And remember, at the 5-minute mark, the clock will stop on incomplete passes. It only does that at the 5-minute mark at halftime and the 5-minute mark at the end of the game, as Pringle will move into the slot on 1st and 10 from the 37. Archer's down. Greg Gilbert came in untouched to drop him at the 45-yard line. 7-yard loss on the play.
They moved all the defense to the left and then left the linebackers to the right side. You'll see the defensive lineman to the top of your screen. Now you'll see Gilbert, 51, come right up inside. No one picks him up because they had everybody tied up with a one-on-one block. You normally use a running back on that man coming free up inside. Here's another shot. You'll see no one picks him up. That's not even a sack. That's a bag. That's too easy.
That time, Pringle moved to the slot and Burst moved over to the wing on the right side, so there was nobody there.
Nobody there.
And Gilbert saw it and came hard all the way. 2nd down, call it 18. Archer going deep down the far side, and a penalty marker is down. Let's see who they called on. The intended receiver was Parker, 86. John Hardy out of Cal, number 28, recently added to the roster because of the problem with the injuries in the secondary.
I called that right away. You'll see he gets his right arm on him, and that actually was the right arm on him appeared just a little early. Now that ball was not catchable. Now maybe they're ruling if he hadn't touched him, he could have got there, but he did make contact. Now remember, it's not spoiling the foul. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Only if it's intentional down there do they mark it down there. So they bring it back to the line of scrimmage and they'll step 15 off.
First down, move the change.
No. That'll leave him, Dick, about 3 yards short. Remember the sack.
15-yard penalty.
Yeah. Okay, excuse
first
me.
Down.
Oh, no, it is. No, excuse me. It is the first down with the pass interference.
Yeah,
exactly.
Automatic first down.
Because they had 18 yards to go on that particular play, so it's the 15-yard penalty and the automatic first down.
Terry Blanchard, the field goal kicker, was 5 for 8 this year, kicking field goals. He hasn't had many attempts because they've always scored touchdowns inside there.
They got to get Pringle off the field. Too many men on the field. As Parker will go in motion now on 1st and 10 from the 29. Play action. Down the middle. Beautiful defensive play. Carl Parker, the intended receiver, and it was Charles Fryer out of Nebraska that knocked it down.
Good pressure at the end by Jerry Reese, number 92, but it's a bootleg. He fakes one way. Now he comes out, does a nice job of faking, turns. He wants to throw the ball back down in the seams. He actually forces that ball. That ball should have been intercepted. Charles Fryer, number 29, got both hands on the ball. So he's throwing it back down the seam right there, forcing that. Normally, when you see the coverage back there, you go to a check down to the backside of that bootleg action. He didn't. He just threw it downfield.
And then Charles Fryer is still down on the field after he knocked that down. Charles Fryer, who came into this game with 15 tackles, a couple of interceptions. And over on the sidelines is the place kicker, Terry Blanchard. Now keep in mind that Blanchard signed midway through the year because Nice was doing both the punting and the place kicking. And as we've seen this year, that doesn't always work out too well. So Nice now the punter and handles the kickoffs with Blanchard concentrating on the field goals and the point after.
Terry Blanchard is only 3 for 6 outside 30 yards. So, you know, it isn't a gimme. But the World League kickers really improved this year outside of 40 yards. They improved in efficiency 15% over last year. Made a big jump.
Blanchard with a 42-yard field goal as his longest, and Fryer's going to come off, so that already depleted secondary of Barcelona will lose Fryer. He's got a tackle, a couple of pass breakups.
The important thing for him to do right now is not think of trying to make the first down in one play, 2 plays. Go back to those check downs unless you see dog or blitz or man. Go back to those check downs, those little things outside.
Second down and 10 from the 29-yard line. 4:08 left to go here in Sacramento. Well, this is without a doubt their longest drive of the day. Archer's got trips to the near side. Going downfield, Eddie Brown, the intended receiver, and guess who? Adrian Jones, the World League defensive MVP, makes a play.
He did a real good job. He got in there at the right time. He didn't get in there early. See him man-to-man coverage. He's looking at him all the way. The ball's thrown. He makes a break. He gets it. Oh, I'll tell you, that's pass interference. He made contact early. That's pass interference. That should have been called. You see him bump him there on that replay?
I saw him. Yeah. No harm, no foul, obviously.
Yeah,
Dick.
Obviously. I'll tell you, side judge back there or the back judge back there should have made that call.
Jones, also a professional baseball player, played with the Atlanta Braves organization as a pitcher for a year. Third down and 10.
Let's look.
Deflected at the line of scrimmage. Boy, Archer, it appeared to me that time, just didn't get that pass high enough in the air. Looked like Matt Kelly, number 90, was the guy that knocked it down.
Barcelona is rushing 5 and dropping with 6 people. See, it's not a true blitz situation. You see Kelly coming in there, and he just jumps up, and he threw it right in. He didn't see him stand up inside and actually hit him in the numbers with the football.
Now, Blanchard's going to attempt the field goal. His career long is 42. This is a 47-yarder.
His long this year is
David Archer. David Archer is the holder.
This looks short.
Yeah. Oh, he got it! Woo! As I look at the flag at the other end zone, that obviously got up in the wind because the wind hadn't really been a factor, and that football just hung in the air and just hung in the air.
It did look like it. No way that thing was going to make it, but look at this. Right at the end, it gets over by a foot. Holy mackerel.
And there's the reaction by Blanchard. He's waiting. Yes.
Yes.
And it counts.
And he knew he was going to make it all the time. He
and Sacramento leads at 17-15 with 3:54 to go.
Woo! No way was that going to make it.
Gary Blanchard out of Oklahoma State University. And it's a contact game, but it's a game of inches too, huh?
Oh, I'll tell you. He hit that, and he didn't hit it strong. He got it up in the air, but as you pointed out, Roger, there was a little wind behind it. End over end, pushed it, and there it goes.
Well, the offense finally got something for Sacramento, huh? 9 plays, 44 yards, 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Barcelona has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. 3:54 left to go in this game as Dempsey Norman is back deep to receive the kickoff from John Nees. And with the wind to his back, knocks it out of the end zone. Coming up next Saturday on ABC Sports, it's the toughest leg of the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. Preakness winner Pine Bluff will take on the country's top 3-year-olds with $1 million bonus up for grabs. It's the mile-and-a-half test, the Belmont Stakes, plus the American Championship Racing Series continues with the Nassau County Handicap. It's all live starting at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific time on ABC's Wide World of Sports. And there's Teddy Garcia, who is 1 of 3 so far today.
Good. Yeah, that's Garcia, but as a head coach now, there's a dilemma. If you're calling the offense, do you call the offense thinking in turns for a field goal, or do you call the offense thinking about scoring? Because Garcia hadn't made one yet.
Scott Ernie will swing it out to the near side. Paul Palmer, the intended receiver, and it's just thrown behind him. Pressure by Mike Sinclair that time.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're tired and all of a sudden you take the lead by 2 points with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go, you get rejuvenated. You find a little extra in that bucket.
Plus, this crowd, with the exception of the big play by Riddick and the big play by Eddie Brown, has really had nothing to cheer about all day for any sustained amount of time. Now they are into the game. Ernie's missed his last 5 pass attempts. This is 2nd and 10. He'll come to the near side again, and he's got his receiver there, number 87, Tony Moss, and the stick by Junior Robinson.
See, also that time, Junior Robinson comes up there with his head up, his pads squared to him. He wraps his arm around him. He doesn't allow that spin move.
And for the first time today, the offense gave the defense a chance to rest, and they got themselves pumped up to come back in. Big 3rd down play right here. 3rd and 9 for Scott Ernie and the Barcelona Dragons. 5 receivers. Sinclair with the pressure. Ernie gets rid of it. It's caught. It's caught on the deflection. Ronald Manuel has it. And he's brought down at the 39-yard line. Vance Hammond round down to make the tackle. Also there was Goldberg, 18 yards on the reception. And that's the veteran Lionel Manuel, who knows that tip drill very well.
See, Sinclair, 75, flushes him, get him outside. He sets up presence of mind to locate the receiver downfield. Is batted in the air, and there's the old pro, Lionel Manuel. You New York Giants fans can remember that guy. He's had some big ones.
Thomas Woods was man who originally had the football, and it went off his hands. As Ernie will come near side, nearly picked off there. Junior Robinson making the play.
I wonder what would happen if they threw a turn in rather than that out. There's got to be more in their passing game than an out pattern.
But a stop and go. Oh. Pump fake it.
Yeah. Ernie paid the price on that last pass play, though. Watch this. Bam! Right in the face, and he jams his thumb right there. Look at him.
That was Vance Hammond, who I mentioned before, had put the pressure on him. And it looked like Hammond was trying to hold up, and he caught Ernie's hand with his helmet. 2nd and 10. Penalty marker goes down. Is the play stopped? Ernie's just going to throw it up for grabs. He catches it. He catches it. 85, Thomas Woods. It's a touchdown, but there's a penalty marker down.
He pushed off, too.
But there wasn't a flag thrown at that point.
But he pushed the defender.
Penalties against Barcelona. A lot of the players started standing around because they thought a whistle had been blown before the play.
The official down there should have called that. He pushed the defender.
Number 88 on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Jack McNell.
Demetrius Davis was the man called for the penalty.
Did you see the official pat him on the belly? Huh? Not many officials ever patted me on the belly, I'll tell you that. If they did, the fist was doubled up.
Well, Dick, that's because you were slightly intense on the sideline.
Hey, Bicknell's every bit as intense. You know, that's what he said he loves about his horses. You know, his hobby is riding horses. When he gets home, the horses don't care if they won or lost.
9 penalties, 75 yards. Bicknell also said this has been his most enjoyable year in football with one group of players, the Barcelona Dragons. He's the 2nd-year head coach and the winningest coach in the World League. There's a look at Cowboy Jack, coached at Maine, came down to Boston College, lives in a town called Holliston outside of Boston, where he has 5 or 6 horses, and he's still talking to the official. Well, coming up tonight on the ABC Sunday Night Movie, Clint Eastwood and a former football player by the name of Burt Reynolds turn up the heat in City Heat. It's 2 hours of non-stop action with Eastwood and Reynolds tonight, starting at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time, here on ABC. All right, Dick, let's talk situation. 2:09 to go in the football game. 2nd down and 15, ball on the 34-yard line. The momentum here is swung back now with Sacramento holding the 2-point lead.
Well, the first thing I do what Jim Valvano said, I think about my best players offensively. So far in the last this season, when he's healthy, Demetrius Davis has been my best player. So I'm going to think about offensive pattern that includes him as a primary read, try to get him the ball. If the defense collapses there, then you work on around him and get the ball. But I think of 2 downs for the 1st down here, rather than trying to get an 18-yard gain.
They haven't been able to find Davis inside like they did earlier in the game. 2nd and 15. In the middle, there he is, 85, Thomas Woods. as he gets to the 44-yard line. Michael Jones right there on the stop, and we have reached the 2-minute warning.
Remember now, the clock is stopping every incomplete pass.
Right. 2-minute warning in this World League playoff game from Sacramento, and the Surge leads by 2.
And isn't it true that this auto part did, in fact, come from the defendant's car?
Objection. Prosecution is leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer the question.
This part most definitely came from that car.
And how can you be sure?
I work for Napa Auto Parts. It's my job to be sure.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Napa people are parts experts, so they can answer any question, whatever the case may be.
This year, the Lake Edna Players present the Wild West Review. Tonight, director Lauren Clark tried to motivate her cast of cowboys with new KFC honey barbecue chicken. Fried chicken glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey. The chicken was unbelievable, as were a few of the performances. Try the 2-piece honey barbecue roundup meal, just $2.99, or the 8-piece meal, just $9.99 for a limited time in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Mount Kilimanjaro is 19,340 feet high. Kalihiwai Jungle has an average annual rainfall of 75 inches. Bryce Canyon is 998 feet deep. These are some of the specifications used to create the new Jeep.
Well, there's a look at David Archer, who's had some kind of year here.
You know, and today everyone's going to be mad at him because they didn't put a lot of points on the board. It's not always the quarterback's fault. Some of your game plans you put together aren't real good. Today's Sacramento game plan, not very good today.
Sacramento was 68 total yards, but they lead it by 2, 17-15 with 2 minutes left to go. 3rd down and 5 for Barcelona. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Intended receiver was Demetrius Davis. They did the right thing, Dick. They went to their most productive receiver. The coverage over there by Tracy Perkins.
Where a tight end like him is more effective, though, is back inside, working on the inside linebackers.
Now on a 4th down and 5, they'll leave the offense on the field.
Definitely.
Vance Hammond applied the pressure.
You know what I do right now? I believe this or not, I'm Sacramento. They've been very effective blitzing. Come after him.
4th down and 5. Ernie down the middle, incomplete. Intended receiver was Thomas Woods. Michael Jones, 55, once again, who's been everywhere today defensively on the coverage. 1:51 left to go. Barcelona's got 2 timeouts left to maybe get Teddy Garcia's shot.
Ernie had a time initially. He gets hit late. See, he finds that nice passing seam down there. The ball was thrown low and back behind him. Nothing he could do. But Jones, as you say, was in position with that poorly thrown ball. There's Derek Kelson right there. He's excited. You don't always win the game you think you deserve, you know?
Barcelona trailing by 2. Sacramento, 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line of the Dragons. They'll give it to Pringle.
Great play by Brad Ploss.
Pringle gets to the 40, a gain of about 5. Ploss 55 and Woods 35 make the tackle, and they call the timeout with 1:39 left to go. That's how far Sacramento needs to go to Montreal.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I dress the way I do. That's why I stay in shape.
To compete against men half your age takes a certain kind of power.
That's why I play like an animal.
The power of Power Stick.
I give it everything I have every time I walk out there.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke.
This works best for me. I don't want people going around saying, whew, that Connors, he's tough to be around.
Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
There's a driving force in golf that's taking the game to new heights. It's a non-profit organization formed in 1894 and dedicated to preserving golf's integrity and traditions, researching turfgrass, protecting the environment, and testing new balls and equipment so that you can excel and give it your best shot. That force is the United States Golf Association. Join us. Call and become a member of the USGA today. Call 1-800-345-USGA.
It's a lonely world for place kickers. There's Teddy Garcia of the Barcelona Dragons. He has missed 2 of 3 today. And Kerry Blanchard, who was able to knock it through. It's still lonely on both sides. They're by themselves, but the feeling by Blanchard so much better than the feeling by Garcia. On 2nd and 5, one-time Wlaf for Barcelona, and that's going to be just shy of the first down. And
they have to call timeout there.
They've called it there with 1:33 left to go.
And remember, in the World League, the offensive team must make an effort to advance the ball. They can't flop on.
Now the winner, of course, of this game will move on to Montreal for World Bowl II. They'll play Orlando. A winner last night over Birmingham, 45-7.
You know, in all, Sacramento did not play well offensively, but you have to give credit to the Barcelona defensive people. As I said early in the broadcast, they came in here ranked 7th on defense in terms of total yards. But the way I break them down, Raj, they were #1, and they proved that today, and they did it with 3 starters out of the secondary. Excellent job of coaching by Red Kellen and Steve Spagnuolo and Von Williams. Offensively, Sacramento is a much better team than this and will have to be, or Orlando will eat them alive next week.
3rd down and 3. 3rd down and 3 for Sacramento. No timeouts remaining for Barcelona. 1:33 left to go.
Come after.
Pringle got it. He made it. See y'all in Montreal.
See y'all in Montreal.
That's what the sign said. Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I wasn't looking at my monitor.
That's what the Sacramento people.
Jack, I know the feeling. I have been there, and it hurts.
They still have to advance the football.
Here it is, just what they call a power O play. Double down, see the wing there. They see the guard coming around up inside. Tom Raider, he gets up in there. That's long, 52, leading it up in there. Good kick-out block. They mush it up in there. I'm surprised that Barcelona just didn't line up and come with all 11 people in some form of blitz. They made it.
So the first down, no timeouts left for Barcelona. Sacramento has to make a positive attempt to advance the football. They just can't turn around and go backwards. They have to make a forward move with the football.
Right. Now, there could be a quarterback sneak,
right,
but he has to move forward with the football. Now, you watch Ruth, the nose guard. He'll be quick every time that ball just burrows. He'll be going up underneath that center trying to get it.
They'll hand it off to Pringle inside. And so Sacramento, with their worst offensive showing of the year, found some way, somehow, to win one more time. And what a turnaround it's been for Kay Stevenson. Last year, 3-7, totally revamped this team. Only 11 players back, and the key was finding that quarterback, David Archer.
I tell you, they were lucky today.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, normally when you go to a big bowl game, a big championship game, you were lucky to win one. And today, they were lucky to win this one.
And that's going to do it. That's going to be the final play of this game on a hot, sunny Sunday afternoon in Sacramento, California. These 23,000 plus have got themselves a team going to the World Bowl. And what an effort put up by this man who they've been on a continual road trip for the past month. And to come up and play that kind of football game in a big game says a lot for Jack Bicknell and his entire team.
I'm happy for him. Go get him now. Beat those guys, dude.
Let's go to Julie Moran. Julie?
All right, Coach, you've had injuries, you've had a road trip, a heck of a month, but you couldn't have asked for anything more than your ball club gave you today.
These guys are special, and it's frustrating, you know, because they played like heck. They played like heck all year, and I just really enjoyed coaching them.
All right, thanks, Coach. And over to you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Julia. I'm here with Kay Stevenson. Congratulations on your trip to the World Bowl, but you got to feel fortunate because your offense just wasn't there today.
That's right. This is the first time all year that we've been stymied like that offensively, and I give a heck of a lot of credit to this Barcelona team and their defensive staff, their whole staff. Jack Bignell, they're great staff.
Do you learn something from this to prepare for the World Bowl? Do you see some things offensively you need to do?
Sure, we see a lot of things we need to do, but next week it's going to be a different opponent, a different game, so we've got to take care of that.
Well, congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim. So the two teams with the best records in the World League, Orlando at 9-2 and Sacramento at 9-2, will meet in Montreal next week to decide it. Two teams with similar colored uniforms, that aqua of Sacramento and that strange sort of lime green of Orlando. And two quarterbacks in contrast, Dick. The veteran David Archer, the guy that went in as a free agent at Atlanta and has fought his way to maybe get another shot at the NFL, and Scott Mitchell with Orlando, who's the enhancement player. Two different looks at the World League from two different players. Let's go down to Jim Valvano. Jim?
Thanks a lot, Roger. I'm here with the hero today, Kerry Blanchard from Oklahoma State. Before you kicked that game-winning field goal, I said to you, how many times have you been in this situation? And you replied,
yeah, I've only been in it twice since high school. You know, that's all the way through. And this is my third time, and it's the most wonderful time in the world.
And the last time at Oklahoma State, the ball went off the upright, didn't it?
Yeah, I had a 52-yarder against Kansas my last time, and it went off the right upright and missed that one, but I'm glad to come back with this one.
Did you think it was a little short, or did you know it was all the way?
Oh, yeah, I guess my adrenaline was pumping out there. As soon as I kicked it, I didn't think it went in. It didn't feel good. But, it went, it started drifting back in, and thank God it went in.
Congratulations. Over to you, Julie.
All right, Jimmy, I'm here with a very happy man, David Archer. David, you've had some great offensive games this year. They really shut you down, but your team really came through, pulled it out.
Well, I mean, the defense and the special teams showed up for us today, Julie, and we were lucky because we didn't do anything offensively, nothing. And all the credit goes to their defense. They played a tremendous game defensively. We're fortunate to be going. Any team, whatever team it had gone, been a great representative because they got great people on their side.
All right, thanks, David. Best of luck. Back up to you, Roger.
Okay, thank you very much, Julie. And you heard it right from David Archer. He said, we're very fortunate. You heard it from Kerry Blanchard. I didn't think it was going to go in. Football's a funny game. Sometimes you play your very best, and it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just the breaks that matter. And on this day, with a little wind to his back, a ball that seemed like it was never going to come down to earth, Kerry Blanchard kicks the game-winning field goal, and that was at 47 yards, and Sacramento will go to the World Bowl. For Dick Vermeil, Jim Valvano, Julie Moran, all of our ABC staff, thanks for being with us. I'm Roger Twibell. We'll see you later, everybody.
Next Saturday, the Pro Bowlers Tour rolls into Portland for the Oregon Open, and we begin live coverage of the Memorial Tournament sponsored by Dean Witter. Then on ABC's Wide World of Sports, it's the third jewel in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. There's a $1 million bonus on the line in the Belmont Stakes Live. Now stay tuned for your local news and World News Sunday over most of these ABC stations. World League Football has been brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody's cooking like today's KFC. By AT&T, the right choice. By Jeep, maker of the new Jeep Grand Cherokee. And by Canon cameras, so advanced they're simple.